presents the best of the National Football League, the American Football Conference. Today from Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum, it's the Cleveland Browns versus the Oakland. Today's game is brought to you by Michelob Light. After all, it's simply a matter of good taste. By Chrysler Plymouth, who invites you to see our 1980 models and compare Chrysler engineering to any other cars. By Hertz, where the winners rent. And by RCA's Color Track. Getting the color right is what Color Track is all about. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Don Criqui with John Brody. .57 degrees at Oakland, California, as the Raiders and the Browns are ready to tee it up. The Cleveland Browns coming into this game with a record of 9-5. The Oakland Raiders are 8-6. And both these teams beneficiaries of yesterday's Seattle victory over Denver. Both Cleveland and Oakland with a very real shot now at becoming an AFC wildcard team. With John Brody, this is Don Criqui at Oakland's Alameda County Stadium. The Browns will be kicking off, and Don Cockcroft is the man to do it. Cleveland coming with a record of 9-5, and the Raiders are 8-6 after their come-from-behind victory last Monday night at New Orleans. There are the deep men for Oakland. Arthur Whittington is back along with Ira Matthews. And John, the playing conditions couldn't be better. 57 degrees, a dry grass field.
I think the playing conditions couldn't be better for the types of teams playing. Both of them fire the ball in the air. I think neither team really concerns himself with the score until the final gun sounds. I love to watch this kind of football. I think we can look forward to a lot of points.
Cockcroft hits a high spinning kickoff. It's taken by Ira Matthews. 20. He cuts across the 30, and Matthews, a first-year player from Wisconsin, drives the ball out across the 35-yard line. He is up to about the 36, where Dino Hall, not big, in fact the smallest guy on the field, but he can play football, comes down and makes the play on special teams for the Browns. Stabler is at quarterback, coming off a great game. He's having a superior year again. Arthur Whittington, not big but quick. At one running back, Mark Van Egan, a big back who's gained 1,000 yards the last 3 seasons for Oakland, is the fullback. Great receivers. And Casper double tight ends, and Cliff Branch, who caught 2 for touchdowns in the win over New Orleans at the wide receiver. Branch is out wide to the right. It's 1st and 10 for the Oakland Raiders at their 37-yard line. Arthur Whittington breaks the crust. Hitting out against the Browns' 3-4 defense. Arthur Whittington is out to the 44-yard line. Tom Darden, an all-pro free safety, number 27 for Cleveland, made the knockdown on the play. The blockers for the Oakland Raiders, all-pro side, and Art Shell and Gene Upshaw. Dalby, one of the most underrated players in the league at his position at center. Steve Sylvester and Henry Lawrence, the black Kate at the right side of the offensive line for Oakland. And they are the men who protect Ken Stabler, although not as well this year as they usually do. He's been sacked 33 times. Stabler, a 60% completion man this season, goes right back to the run. And the Raiders take it at the Browns across midfield and down to the 49-yard line. Ambrose, 52, made the knockdown on Van Egan. So the Raiders come out running. The Browns have gone to the 3-4 defensive alignment because of injuries to people like Jerry Shirk and Rich Dimmler, Lyle Alzado, Mickey Sims, and Jack Gregory, the down linemen in the front 3. 4 linebackers in Charlie Hall, Dick Ambrose, Robert Jackson, and Clay Matthews. It is now 1st and 10 for Oakland. Stabler again goes to the run, and Arthur Whittington takes the ball down to the 47-yard line of Cleveland, where the nose tackle Mickey Sims knocked him down. Here it is, John.
Don, I think the indicative thing, Oakland's run the ball effectively the times they've carried it, and they've gone to a 4-linebacker defense. That's Ambrose has been playing so well in the middle for so long that their number 1 draft choice, Robert Jackson, couldn't get in the game. They're trying to utilize him more, so they've gone to a 4-linebacker defense. I think the effect of it may be some offensive running that Oakland hasn't been.
On 2nd and 8, Van Egan gets the call, takes it down to the 45-yard line. Mark Van Egan drives it down on 2nd and 8. He is knocked down to the play by Robert Jackson and Mickey Sims.
I was going to say, Donnie, that Oakland may be able to run the ball more effectively than they have in the past due to the fact that Cleveland, the 3-man line has to be a little new to them. 3 down linemen. They should be able to run the ball better than they have in the past.
There's the defensive backfield of Cleveland. Bolton and Davis at the corners. Clarence Scott and Tom Darden are the safeties. 3rd down. 5 yards to go for the 1st down for Oakland. First quarter, no score. Stable looking for his first throw. A lot of time. He can stand back there and write a book, and now he drills it to Casper at the 40. He falls forward close to the 39, and that's to get the 1st down. Matthews knocked him down 57.
The great ones know right where they have to go to get the first down. You don't have to look to the sideline to know where the marker is. You've done that on first down. He knows exactly where he has to be. He gets 1 foot on the other side of the first down marker. John Madden, I think, paid him the highest compliment of any tight end I've ever heard of when he said, if there were 3 football players I'd like to have for my franchise, it would be Campbell, Bradshaw, and Casper. I don't know how much more you can say about a tight end.
Well, he's been that good. Kind of a year he's having after a slow start, and his counterpart, Ozzie Newsome of the Cleveland Browns, is having an even better year. Newsome with 9 touchdown catches, and he's going to be the key, perhaps, to the Browns' offense today. They expect to go to him a lot. But right now, Cleveland must stop the Oakland Raiders, and that they've not done in this opening drive. There is no score on the board, but the Oakland Raiders have the ball first and 10 at the Cleveland 40. Stabler, pump faking, drill ball. He's going to speed. Spectacular football as Stabler delivers it long, and Cliff Branch, one of the fastest men in football, outruns the secondary, beat cornerback Oliver Davis, and caught it on the dive in the end zone, and the Raiders are up 6-0.
Don, Cliff Branch may not have changed his uniform since last Monday night. He caught too late in the ball game to put them ahead. This is the finest catch of any of those 3 that he's made. He just outruns that Oliver Davis has on him. He has not beaten Oliver Davis. He just fades away from the ball, makes sure he stays in bounds, comes up with a great catch, and Oakland's on the scoreboard.
They are indeed. That was the 50th career touchdown reception for Whippet fast Cliff Branch. Now Jim Breach out there to try the point after David Hum will hold. Snap set down, all good, and so is the extra point. And so, with 12 minutes to play in the first quarter, the Oakland Raiders go on top 7-0 on the long strike, a 40-yard strike from Stabler to Cliff Branch, and that's about right, John. I don't think he did change his uniform since Monday night. Came right to the ballpark.
Well, you know, he's going to have to carry a lot of the burden today because Raymond Chester has been replaced by Derek Ramsey early in the ball game. Now, they may not use as many 2 tight end offensive plays as they have throughout the year, and used it quite effectively. 101 balls between the 2 tight ends coming into today's play has to be a record that may never be surpassed. If his first opportunity is in Cliff Branch is going to have a lot of fun.
Well, Cliff Branch, he just paused, waited, Stabler delivered long, and Branch took off like the world-class sprinter that he was at Colorado and outraced the defense into the end zone right on time with the football. Now Dino Hall and Randy Rich are back for Cleveland to return.
Now it's time for number 17, Brian Sipe, who might be having the best year of any quarterback in this game, to get his hands on the ball. We mentioned early, they won't count the score till the gun sound.
No, they will not. More touchdowns in this one. Here comes Dino Hall. He's across the 10, turning wide, and Hall cracks out to about the 19-yard line. The overall pursuit by the Oakland team is good as Dino Hall, the little free agent from Glassboro, who came to this team when Keith Wright, who still has the best kickoff return average in the AFC, went down with a knee injury early in the season. The Browns have lost some key people on offense and defense. There's the offensive setup. Brian Sipe, 27 touchdown throws. Mike Pruitt, 1,000 yards rushing, and Cleo Miller in to start. He's got a 6-yard per carry average the few times he's run with the ball. Alvin Hill's troubled somewhat by a knee, but he will play. It is first and 10, Cleveland Browns. 7-0 Oakland Raiders first quarter, Alameda Coliseum in Oakland, California. Sipe, timing pattern. He goes right to Dave Logan, the big wide receiver from Colorado. Turns out on the right side corner. Henry Williams, a rookie. You'll see more of that. And the pass catchers for the Cleveland Browns, and they've been in the end zone 20 times between them. Ozzie Newsome is the tight end, number 82. He's at the top of your screen. 9 touchdown receptions. Reggie Rucker to the left, 33. 6 touchdown receptions, and Logan has 6. And we would like to welcome those viewers who've been watching the Miami-Detroit game. The score here in Oakland, California is Oakland 7, Cleveland nothing. Stabler just hit Cliff Branch on a 39-yard touchdown pass in the end zone. A thing of beauty, the first time the Raiders had the ball. Now Mike Pruitt, averaging 4.7 yards a rush, runs the ball. The Oakland Raiders for Cleveland. Ted Hendricks, 83, one of Oakland's 4 linebackers, makes the knockdown. The offensive blockers for Brian Sipe, Deacon and Shepard. Reason is a first-year player and a very good one, a 7th-round draft choice at left guard. Bob Jackson at the right guard and Tom DeLeon is the center for Cleveland. An underrated part of this football team. They've done a big job. It's second down and less than a yard for the Browns. Rucker goes in motion. Cleo takes a look and drives ahead, and I don't know if he got there, John. Looked like he was thrown back.
He did not. He fumbled the ball when it was handed to him by Sipe. This will put him in a third down and 2 to go. Today, the personalities have changed. This is Dave Pear, generally the nose guard. Today, Oakland's playing a four-man defensive line. The assignments will change a little bit, but football is football. You beat the man across the line of scrimmage, and you stop the play for no gain.
Dave Pear, the nose tackle from the University of Washington, came here from Tampa Bay, major trade. He is right across, and now he goes into a gap away from DeLeon. Here's Sipe throwing on a 1st and 10. The ball free, and it's picked up by Cleveland Brown. But Brian Sipe was leveled by a very aggressive linebacker from Southern California. The best linebacker on the Oakland team this season, Rod Martin, 53.
Rod Martin just fooled the Cleveland offense. You can see DeLeon's trying to find somebody to pick up. They did not slide to the left, which that situation called. As a result, Martin came free. Brian Sipe wasn't even the first man back there.
Sam Rutigliano, Jim Schaffner on the sideline. What's happening out there? Why aren't we picking up the blitzes, says Coach Rutigliano. Across the way, Coach Tom Flores, first year with the Oakland Raiders. Looked on pleased at the moment. His club's up 7-0. On 2nd and over 20, the throw is to Cleo Miller. He got that off the turf, and he picked it up on a clean reception. Nicely done by Miller, but it'll bring up 3rd and long yardage. That was a 2nd and 20 play. They got back about 9. The defensive front for the Oakland Raiders, and it'll change a lot. They bring in different people and different alignments. You're never quite sure you're going to see the same thing twice. This is how they start off. Dave Browning, Dave Pear, and the veteran Pat Toomey. And the linebackers, Ted Hendricks, Monty Johnson, Phil Villapiano, and Rod Martin, who just made his presence very well much felt in the Cleveland backfield, knocking down Brian Sipe. It's 3rd down and 11 for Cleveland. Oakland leads the game 7-0 first quarter. Here's a blitz again. They pick it up. The release. Logan has it, a beautifully executed play by Sipe and Logan of the Browns. As Sipe saw the blitz and the Browns picked it up and he released.
A safety blitz is what it was. Jack Tatum came right through the middle. When he did so, he left the middle wide open. Now, only the top quarterbacks can stand in there and take their time and know they're going to get hit, but they wait till the last possible instance to throw the ball. Remember, that's the 2nd time they have thrown on Williams' side. He's a young cornerback, number 45. No one has tested him throughout the season. It's been a little surprising to even the Raiders. He may get a test today.
He'll be getting a test. Has had one early. Here's the pitch back and through it. Starts to go wide. And there's a free football, and the Raiders got it. And Oakland Raider got the ball at the 49-yard line of Oakland. As the Cleveland now has fumbled twice. The first one they recovered, but not this one. Looked like the field was a little slippery over there.
Mike Pruitt having a great gained over 1,000 yards with 2 games left to play. A little pitch out. It looks like he might get some running room. However, when he goes to cut back, he slips. A running back has had it when this happens. The ball is knocked out of his hands by Ted Hendricks. The Raiders recover, and ironically, the Raiders have had their most problem when they have fumbles and turnovers. Today, it's gone the other way early.
And Pat Toomey was the man who got the free football, so the Raiders leading 7-0 get back the ball when we return. Back at Oakland, this is Don Trickey with John Brooks. Looking for a lot of touchdowns in this game, John. We got one right away from Stabler and Branch.
I think, with the possible exception of the fact that teams will turn it over through fumble and interception, neither defense will stop the other's offense except on rare occasion. It's the kind of football game that I have always loved, and I think the people at home do also.
Well, it's time for touchdowns. We're going to have more before this one is over as the Oakland Raiders came out of firing, and here they go from scrimmage, 1st and 10 after the fumble recovery by Pat Toomey. Arthur Whittington, a quick little back from SMU, drives across midfield out of the 40-yard line of the Browns. Whittington missed 5 games this season, had an ankle injury. Nick Ambrose, number 52, who was out for a while for Cleveland, who's been so important to this team, so excellent against the run. 52 was on the stop. There was a gain of 6 yards on the play. Oakland's offensive line is coming off the ball and moving out the Browns early in this football game. Now Cleveland brings their linebackers up tight. On 2nd and 4, Stabler takes a deep drop. He's got time, swings it out to Van Ingen. And the big back from Colgate, crashes ahead inside the 40, and he's ahead for yet another first down. And there's Mr. Stabler, John, who is lots of time today.
Well, so far he's been given excellent time. Now remember, Cleveland's in a three-man line most of the time. This time he takes all the time he can, allowing the linebackers to get back in their drop, lays it off to Van Egan. He picks up a good game. Lyle Alzado's been a big addition to them throughout the year. Came from Denver. Has really instilled the feeling in Cleveland that they can get to the playoffs. That's something every team needs. He's given it to them.
Now they go back to the run. As Stabler, throwing the ball 3 times in this football game, has completed all 3 for 54 yards and the 1 touchdown. That spectacular one on the opening sequence of plays, the 39-yarder to Cliff Branch. Charlie Hall, outside linebacker, and Ambrose were on the stop on the carry. And on a 1st and 10 run, the Raiders are inside the 35-yard down to the 34, so it's going to be 2nd down and about 6. Robert Jackson now comes in. Mike St. Clair goes out. People switching around in the Cleveland defensive alignment. 2nd down and 6. Stabler takes a drop, and Stabler takes his time and swings it out a little bit low, and the ball comes in incomplete. And so, too, a penalty marker flies in. So we have a problem here, and it looks like Carl's going to go against Oakland.
I'm not sure of that. It looks to me like it might be the other way.
Let's see. First, you got a personal foul against Cleveland. Henry Lawrence was shaking his hands at the official. Apparently he was congratulating him.
Well, that was just one of those clubbing incidents. You don't let the defensive lineman club the offensive lineman in the head. They very seldom call it because the habit pattern is turned to such that the defensive linemen don't use it very often. In that case, they did.
So the Browns have a problem now. Here's referee Chuck Hebber.
Now, head slap, number 77, defense, 1st down.
Lyle Alzado, who will slap in the head if he gets a chance.
Well, you're trying to get there any way you can.
Sure. Lots of scores coming in from the East. A lot of big finals we'll be bringing them to you. Starting to update them after this play. Here's a handoff. Arthur Whittington drives the ball inside the 15-yard line. But some fine blocking from Art Shell and Gene Upshaw. And here come the finals as teams start to hone in on the playoffs. Miami looking good in the AFC East, a 28-10 victor over Detroit at Pontiac, Michigan. The LA Rams standing tall in the NFC West following this win over Atlanta, 34-19. The pressure's really on New Orleans. Washington was down 14-7. Theismann started hitting for touchdowns. Redskins win at 28-14. They're 10-5, three-way tie in the NFC East. Eagles, Cowboys, Redskins. Arthur Whittington doesn't find much there, but this little back, 185 pounds, turns upfield, runs into big people, and gets it close to the 10. St. Louis Cardinals under Larry Wilson are 2-0. They beat the Giants today at St. Louis 29-20. The Chicago Bears put the pressure on Tampa Bay, a team that's not yet clinched in the NFC Central. Bears beat Green Bay 15-14, John. Kansas City and Baltimore tied up 7-7 in the 3rd quarter. And Minnesota doing well against Buffalo, and matchup of also Rams.
And Oakland's in a big drive right now.
3rd and 2. They go to the run. They're giving it back to Whittington. He had to get down to the 8-yard line. It's going to be close. Ambrose and Charlie Hall were on the stop for Cleveland.
We were discussing the fact that it puts New Orleans back to the wall. Their back is outside of the wall because as long as the Los Angeles won today, they have clinched their division. It's over for New Orleans. They had a fine year under Dick Nolan. I think just took the snap out of it.
Well, San Diego's helping that along right now. Look at this. San Francisco's out in front of Tampa Bay across the bay here. And so Tampa Bay would be tied, I believe, with Chicago if they should lose this game to San Francisco.
It's no cinch unless you score some points to beat the 49ers. The problem has been that several teams have made a lot of points.
On that short yardage carry on 3rd and short, the Raiders did not get there, so they have 4th down and less than a foot to go for the 1st down, and they bring in some big people to block. Booker, 245 and a running back. Van Egan, he's 230, and Derek Jensen, a 225-pound back, are all in there. So the Raiders line up muscle as they're ready now to hit out these white and orange-clad Cleveland Browns defenders. 4th and less than a foot. Jumping on over is 245-pound Booker Russell, a free agent from Southwest Texas State. And the Raiders drive onto the 6-yard line, leading 7-0. They have it first and goal.
Okay, Derek Ramsey at tight end. He runs the ball right side. Mark Van Egan does a good job by kicking Clarence Scott out. All you need is a little hole. They found it. They've got the first.
The Raiders looking very sharp on offense. Their first possession, they ran it a few times, threw a little pass to Casper, and all of a sudden, bang, 39 yards to Branch. Here's Whittington. On first and goal from the 6, a penalty marker flies in the air as Whittington takes it down to the 3. Lyle Alzado knocked him down. Browns have not had good success against over the years. Oakland has won 5 of 6 meetings.
Lyle Alzado stopped the play.
Most recently at Cleveland.
I think the only time that Cleveland did beat the Raiders is when they couldn't generate a touchdown. Cleveland beat them 7-3. This game won't go that way.
No. Now, there's going to be touchdowns, and there's going to be some on both sides because both these teams have the high-power offense, and right now Oakland's is most dominant.
Illegal motion, number 66 offense. First down.
So that sets the Raiders back now to their 11-yard. It'll be first and goal from there. The illegal motion call. Sam Ratigliano, his team with an early problem, down 7-0, and the Raiders challenging again. 4:32 to play in the first quarter. Abler, all the time in the world. Tip ball intercepted by Cleveland. Dick Ambrose, the middle linebacker, moved up on the ball, one of 2 middle linebackers as Jackson was in also, and Ambrose stops the Oakland drive.
Don, this is a kind of play you cannot expect a middle linebacker to make because it was deflected. You'd expect your middle linebacker to be moving laterally or backwards. In this case, Ambrose was moving laterally, but his reaction to the ball when it hit the offensive lineman was remarkable. As a result, they get a turnover. Look here. You can see Mickey Sims hit it. I should have said defensive lineman. Credit half of that to Sims, half of that to Ambrose.
And a timeout on the field, so when we return, the Browns will have the football, having stopped the Oakland drive, but the Raiders still in the lead 7-0. With John Brody, this is Don Criqui back at Oakland's Alameda County Coliseum. Exleo Stadium, and the Browns and the Raiders have turned the ball over once each. That one stopped a Raider drive.
And the one previous stopped the Cleveland drive.
Pruitt fumbled. Tunay recovered earlier, remember, on the last Cleveland possession. The first one the Browns had. Now Rucker goes in motion. First and 10, Cleveland at their 10-yard line. They go to the power back, Mike Pruitt, to the head. He comes into the game with 1,062 yards rushing, second in the AFC to Earl Campbell. Scored 8 touchdowns, 6 rushing and 2 on receptions. He's caught 32 balls this year, has Mike Pruitt.
Well, the ability that Mike Pruitt has is once he breaks clear at the line of scrimmage, he's got the kind of speed that he can outrun defensive backs, and it's helped him so much because the Browns throwing as much as they do, they call a lot of screens, a lot of draws, and they get him in the offense.
Pruitt in his 4th year from Purdue had a hellacious start in the league. They put him on the bench. Forrest Gregg did after some fumbles the first couple of years. Here's a tip ball. Brian Sipe has felt the pressure today. He is swept under as Hedricks, number 83, and Tunay were putting pressure on him. Tunay got to him. So Oakland is getting to Brian Sipe with a big rush early.
And Tunay loves it when they use that 4-man line. Remember, the personality of Oakland was that they used the 4-man line to rush the passer. But last week, they changed that around in the second half. A lot of 4-man line against both running and passing situations. That gives Tunay a chance to play on running plays and passing plays and get the feel of the game.
Now it will be 3rd down and 5 for Brian Sipe and the Cleveland Browns. Raw play. Pruitt, he's got room. He's got a first down. He's not done yet. Again, he loses his footing. What's with that grass, John?
Well, he lost his footing, but did you see the way he was able to put a little speed on him once he got to the point of attack? And oh, here's a little draw. We were talking about the fact a lot of the offense run-wise for Cleveland is on draws due to the fact they throw so much. This time he gets through at the point of attack. Oakland's trying to get to Sipe at all costs. That time it cost them.
Rison, the rookie guard, made a nice block. He opened the way for Greg Pruitt, a 16-yard gainer from Mike Pruitt. And now Brian Sipe rolling out, swings it out, and gets his man. This is Pruitt. And Pruitt drives ahead in the 1st and 10 play, and he's close to another first down. So the Browns start to open up their offense. Henry Williams was covering.
Brian Sipe back to throw. He gets pretty good pressure this time, but when you know which back is going out of the backfield and you have to move around, you move toward him if you can. He did so on this occasion. He picked up Pruitt, and they almost grabbed the first down. In fact, they did. Those are the things that keep drives alive. Here's Henry Williams. We mentioned he may have his hands full throughout the afternoon.
Tough to come in and start as a rookie. Their starter, Monty Jackson, went down with a knee injury. He's on injured reserve, so a rookie, Henry Williams, at one. The Browns are looking at him. Here comes Pruitt trying to turn wide. And some fine defensive play. Rod Martin, the USC linebacker, wasn't drafted until the 12th round. You'll remember the big play he had earlier in this game when he came on a blitz. Unimpeded, he went right through and got Brian Sipe, forced a fumble. Browns got it back, but the big loss the Browns could not come back from.
They're using so many different defenses, the Raiders, that
they really are.
They're substituting people on every play. You get the feeling that they're sending in the defenses with the replacements, which they're not. Now Hendricks is off, Villapiano's off. They've got a few replacements. They've got 4 down linemen and 5 defensive backs.
Second down and 18. Sipe, deep drop. He's got some time. Here's a penalty marker. He lets her fly. Penalty marker's down. Rucker's out there, and Rucker has the ball at the 20-yard line, but it might come back as there's a penalty marker in the Cleveland backfield, John.
Well, he got an awful lot of time. He got time so that Reggie Rucker could go down, make his original move. He saw Lester Hayes had that one covered. Brian moved out of the pocket. It's going to be holding.
Well, that would have been a 43-yarder if it went, but it comes back on the holding penalty. Here's the replay.
Okay, when you give a receiver this much time, there's no way. Now, Lester Hayes is having a great year. Rucker beats him there, but Sipe's back there scrambling for his life. Rucker makes a fine play on the ball, comes up with a big reception, but all for naught.
Holding, offense, number 73, second down.
So a tough call. The official right there. That's why Sipe had all the time to unload. They'll be going back to that, though. Cleveland has gotten their people open against the cornerbacks in Oakland. And we saw an Oakland player, fairly well covered, make a diving catch in the end zone in Cliff Branch in the opening series.
Cleveland's going to get people open against anybody's cornerbacks, man.
That's about right. 7-0 right now, Oakland. Here comes Cleveland ready to throw again. In long yardage. Second down and 27. Sipe on the run. Look out. And Brian Sipe bails out at about the 37-yard line. He'll be way, way short of a first down. It'll bring up third and about 17.
But he did put his group in a situation where one completion underneath the safety men behind the linebackers could pick them up a first down. They are operating. They have to quit getting caught for penalties. Stopping themselves about the way they're going to get held.
Well, you talk about some big guys coming in and out. Charles Filliaw is in there now for Oakland, 77, 6'9", 290. Willie Jones is in there also, number 90 to the right end. He's a pass rusher, first-year player. Third down and about 15. Sipe stands in, lets her go. There is, tipped off, beautifully defended against by Oakland. Red Tenor receiver and rookie Henry Williams went up and tipped the ball, and an Oakland safety almost had it.
You notice they tried Henry again. They put 2 flankers to one side of the field, making Henry Williams cover man-to-man on Rucker all over the field. They like their chances if they can create that situation. That time the ball was just thrown a little bit behind Rucker, and Williams made a fine play.
And here, John, with 1:16 to go in the first quarter, we have the first punt of the game. Ira Matthews, year player, is back, and there's Johnny Evans, one of the top 5 punters in the AFC, ready to kick the ball for Cleveland. They set up the return, a low kick. This will come back at the Browns, and here comes Ira Matthews, return right, and Matthews is caught from behind. Curtis Weathers came up from behind and got him. A 33-yard punt and a 6-yard return. The Oakland Raiders in the lead, 7-0, have the football back. We take a pause.
I helped engineer the Valari.
Mike Adamley in New York reporting to you that the game in the Superdome, the Chargers leading 7-0, fouls to the airwaves. Again, he is intercepted by Pat Hughes. Play was negated by an offsides penalty. Chargers with a second life give to Clarence Williams. He scored 12th TD of the season. Chargers lead 14-0. Let's go back to Don Criqui and
Dan Fowler. timeouts, having thrown for 2 scores, as San Diego is now up 14-0 at New Orleans. So the Chargers, contending for the best record in the AFC, they look like they're going to be there.
Another man having a great year. Dan Fouts is liable to throw for 4,000 yards this year before the season's over. And I think Joe Namath is the only other player that's ever done that when he had his great year back in 16.
Well, there was one other. Jurgensen did it one year.
Did he?
And Brian Sight may very well do it. He needs less than 600 yards in the last 2 games. Now on 1st and 10, the drive straight ahead to the 40, and it's a gain about 4.
Oakland's run the ball a little more than usual, and they're healthy for the first time. We had a chance to talk with Sam Bogosian, their offensive line coach, and he feels pretty good about his group.
First of all, I think the biggest factor that has come forth in the last weeks or 5 games is the fact that we've had 5 people in the offensive line that have played every offensive down as a unit. Earlier in the season, we had a rash of injuries. In fact, we've had 5 offensive linemen with knee injuries alone, of which 3 of the 5 had to have surgery. And everybody knows in the offensive line you have to have cohesion. And I think the fact that we've been together for 5 weeks now is the reason why we're playing better offensively and should play better today.
Sam Bogosian telling it. Dave Casper catching it, and he's out to the 47-yard line. It's a first down for Oakland. Everybody's hurt this time of year. You want to talk to any team, they can give you the saddest story you ever heard, because everybody's lost players by now.
Everybody's got a little limp.
Little hitch in the get along, and there is Ken Staber coming off the field, looking well rested and ready, and we'll get Oakland in a moment. Oakland, California. We're ready now for the start of the second quarter. The Raiders lead the game 7-0. They scored the first time they had the ball when Stabler threw to Cliff Branch, 39 yards, touchdown. Raiders drove again down close, but the Browns linebacker Dick Ambrose intercepted. And now Oakland has it again, leading 7-0. First to open the second quarter. Running with the ball is Mark Van Egan, and he takes it straight ahead down close to the 45-yard line.
Don, I think what you'll notice in the personality of Oakland is that they run to the right as well as they do the left. The reason for that is Henry Lawrence, who Stabler criticized a bit in the offseason last year, has come on and had a great year. Steve Sylvester started at 3 positions for the Raiders, and he's having as fine a year as any of the offensive linemen. They feel they can run as well to the right as they can to the left.
Oakland's our team running left. A lot of teams go to the right. Oakland goes at you both ways here. They come with Arthur Whittington cutting back. He has that great acceleration. He'll stop, and then all of a sudden, one stride, he's at full speed. On a 2nd down and 3 carry, Arthur Whittington gets close to a first down, and we'll watch it again.
I think he's got the first down easily, Don. But you can see, here comes Sylvester. He's pulling out the lead. Now, the Raiders for a long time didn't pull many people. Upshaw was the one man that had speed. He probably doesn't have as much as he had. But they've got Sylvester, who's able to lead the fullbacks, lead their halfbacks, and when Arthur Whittington's in there, you need somebody that can pull to help him.
Sylvester's given Oakland a lot. When Art Shell was out so long with the injury, Sylvester was at left tackle, did a great job, a 5th-year player on Notre Dame. They drafted him actually as a center.
And also, he played center when Dalby was hurt,
yep.
And there was no in any of the 3 positions he's played. I mean, it's very rare you find a man that's that flexible.
And the carry was good for a first down, as the measurement shows, so the Raiders drive on. They now have the ball 1st and 10, 42-yard line of Cleveland. Oakland leads the game 7-0 early in the second quarter. Handoff goes to Arthur Whittington. He's inside the 40 and down to the 39. Across the bay, San Francisco has extended its lead over Tampa Bay to 10-0. But Berg, the 49er quarterback, went down with a possible concussion, and Joe Montana is now in the game quarterbacking the 49ers.
We mentioned the Raiders employ 2 tight ends. Raymond Chester is hurting. Derek Ramsey's playing tight end as well as flanker. He can double up. You got to get down on those cornerbacks and help your runners.
It's 2nd down and 6 coming up for Oakland. 39-yard line of Cleveland. The left-hander drops in there, and Stabler delivers, and Cash fielding off the defense, takes the ball, and he's only great.
I'll tell you, it's the little things that differentiate differentiate the great players from the good ones. Casper gets out on this pattern, makes a fine pattern. You can see Clay Matthews is sitting down there with him, and he's in a great position to pick the ball off. If Casper doesn't kind of shield him from getting a hand on the ball, that could have been a turnover for the Browns. As it was, it's a 9-yard completion for the Raiders.
Talk about winners. Stabler, quarterback, to an NCAA championship in 1965, and Oakland to a Super Bowl championship. Dave Casper captained Notre Dame on a national championship team, and he was the prime mover on that team that beat Alabama. Here comes Arthur Whittington. And of course, they both were part of, he was along with Stabler, part of the Super Bowl championship team here at Oakland in 1977. They're winning players, and they now bring the ball down to the 27-yard line. It's another first down for the Raiders.
I'll tell you, the Raiders see whether or not Cleveland in a 3-man line can handle the run. Now, we mentioned earlier they haven't used it an awful lot. They've changed up. They haven't settled with any one phase that would be considered their personality. They were effective last week with a 3-man line. This week it hasn't worked that way.
And now on 1st and 10, Stabler takes a deep drop. He looks, he pumps, he throws, and there's Casper. And Casper is down to the 15-yard line, and right now he owes Cleveland secondary. Dave Casper is running at will out there, and he's catching them all.
When things are going well, you better capitalize. Stabler knows it. They had a chance to score and came out with no points on a great play by Ambrose. They've got themselves on the run again. They've got to extend their lead from 7-0 to get into any sort of position where they feel comfortable.
Raiders were talking about Casper, and you really get the idea of what kind of a competitor he is. The other night at New Orleans, he was flat and the ball was intercepted. It was intended for him. He comes back 40 yards down the field and makes the tackle on the interceptor. Van Egan takes the ball left, and he runs it on a first down carry inside the 15-yard line down to about the 13. Not that long a game. One of Oakland's shortest in this football game, as they have dominated the line of scrimmage. They lead 7-0, and there's 11:40 left to play in the first half. Clay Matthews was on the stop, outside linebacker from USC.
We mentioned before that, Cleveland has hung in there in ball games when it looks like they're being beaten, and they've come back to win. Now, they've won so many games in the last quarter that you almost expect it of them. And if you're Oakland, you want to get all you can early.
That is the truth. Cleveland will be in it, believe me. They come back. Here's the throw in. A good defensive play by Clay Matthews as they went to Casper. Near interference, but the official right there said Clay Matthews got there on time. NBC Sports over starting Christmas Day when the powerhouse Pitt Panthers go against the Wildcats of Arizona in the Fiesta Bowl. New Year's Day, Heisman Trophy winner Charles White leads the 3rd-ranked USC Trojans against the #1 Buckeyes of Ohio State in a game for the national championship. Then the undefeated Florida State Seminoles go against Billy Sims and the Oklahoma Sooners amidst the spectacular pageantry of the Orange Bowl. And right now it's 3rd and 8 for Oakland and Ken Stabler. Inside the 10, Ramsey catches the ball.
They haven't brought it yet, I don't think.
Finally they do. Ramsey didn't hear it anyway.
Well, had he not slipped, he had only to beat Matthews to run it in. You can see when Stabler gets a lot of time, he allows his wide receivers to clean out. Boy, that gives those tight ends a field day in there. Ramsey doesn't realize that no one is any closer than they are. Matthews is the only guy between him and the goal line. They've got it 1st and goal inside the 10.
And now Jim Breach comes out as 4th down and about the 3-yard line, so this will be little more than an extra point attempt. In effect, it's a field goal attempt with David Hum holding. He drills it up, and he's got it. So the Raiders extend their lead to 10-0 with 10:25 left to play in the first half. Oakland gets it going. Oakland leading 10-0. Jim Breach hits it up and good. And we'll return to Oakland Stadium in a moment. See it. Dan Fouts gets another one into the end zone to John Jefferson as the San Diego Chargers have it all going. Here come the Oakland Raiders. Jim Breach into the football. He drills it downfield. Dino Hall takes a look at it. 1 hop, 2 hops, and up at the 9-yard line. 15. He looks and gets to the 20. And Dino Hall runs it to the 22. Saw Dino Hall before the game, John. Everybody about being the smallest player in the league. Said, I'm just happy to be here.
And he is.
The Cleveland Touchdown Club is here. I don't think there's any club anywhere that supports their team like the Browns fans do. They're putting 80,000 a game into Cleveland Stadium. There isn't 80,000 Browns fans here, but there's a lot that made the trip west. Right now, there's not a lot to cheer about.
Well, they're only back by 10. Now, they've been in that position several times this year.
That's a 2-point safety to Cleveland to come back from. Although against Oakland at home, it's going to be tough. 10-0. Sipe takes a look. Logan's open, but he does not deliver. Now he's got to hurry, and here comes Dave Pear running him down, and finally he delivers the ball incomplete. Logan made an inside break and stood there wide open, but Sipe apparently didn't see him.
It's a little difficult to see those fellas. I mean, you can point at them from up here. Row 50, you get a beautiful view. But down there where he is, with Pear hounding him, he's trying to find any open space to put so that he doesn't get caught with a 12 or 13-yard loss. That time he absorbed the blow of Pear and still was able to throw it into an open space. That's a pretty good play out of a bad situation.
I was talking to Brian Sipe this morning. He said probably the key to his performance this year, what's helped him most, is the coaching of Rutigliano and Schaffner and the fact that they've simplified the offense. It's helped the whole team. The offense is not nearly as complex as it was, and they had such a turnover of coaches in recent years at Cleveland. Now they've got a system that has been working, but not today, as the second sack of the game is recorded, and there's also a penalty marker down. Dave Pear comes a smoking on through and knocks down Brian Sipe back inside the 15-yard line, and the signal is also against Cleveland.
I think the interesting thing to me is that it was a blitz situation, and Henry Williams covered Dave Logan all over the field, just like a blanket, forced Sipe to eat the ball. Now, if he can handle Logan one-on-one with no help inside or outside, it could be a long day.
Tripping, offense, number 63, refuse, 3rd down.
Cody Rison called for the trip. Jets are playing tough against New England, second Shea Stadium in New York. Right now it is 3rd down and 17 to go for the first down for Cleveland. Oakland leads the game 10-0 in the second quarter. 10:04 to play in it. Big rush. Sipe eludes it. He delivers. Tip. Oh, it might be picked up. That ball might have been picked up. Mike Davis. Now apparently they ruled it touched the ground first. Going after the ball was Rufus Bess, and Mike Davis tipped it. Rufus Bess grabbed it.
Well, the ball was being bounced around all over the place, so it was really difficult to tell. Now, you see Pat Toomey coming into the screen late. They were in a little game situation. He forced Sipe out of the pocket, and Sipe made a very difficult try to hit Rucker against the grain. Pat Toomey, we mentioned, they were in a little game.
Yeah.
He found a lane straight at Sipe, and this was really responsible for Sipe the ball.
Browns line up on 4th down and 17, ready to punt the ball. Johnny Evans standing at the goal line. Jack Tatum's not ready to play football yet, though.
Well, they think they intercepted the ball. I could not tell, and it didn't look to me as if they had, but doesn't hurt to talk.
Nope. Willie Brown, the defensive backfield coach, comes down Jack Tatum, and now Evans at the goal line. Ira Matthews back at the 47-yard line of Oakland awaiting his kick. Snap so important. It's a line drive, a good one. The kick is not. Takes a hop, and apparently Matthews going to let it roll, and it'll be down at the 49-yard line of the Oakland Raiders, and the Raiders get back the ball 1st and 10, and people knocking each other down on the field away from the play. A 34-yard punt. It's going to get rougher. Back at Oakland, here is Brian Sipe letting it rip. We'll see if it's an interception or not, John.
Well, a lot of people, you know, Jack Tatum just left the field. Now, he thought that Lester Hayes got a piece of it, that his hand bounced the ball up and down. And I agree with him.
That's right.
I agree with him. It didn't look like it the first time a man took a look at it, and the official only has one chance to see it, but that's why they were concerned.
Great pictures. Our producer today for NBC, Larry Cirillo. Our director, Harry Coyle. Is Stabler left. Casper's out there, and it's defended against and broken up so nicely by Oliver Davis, number 21. Casper, for a big guy, gets a deep release. He was on the fly going down the near sidelines, and Oliver Davis saved what could have been 6.
They don't send Casper deep very often. This time, Stabler waits as long as he can. First down, little play action pass. He goes back, it's a pump. Little out and up. He tries to get to Casper. Oliver Davis is cool. He's in great position, but watch. The ball is tipped, and Casper never lets it leave his sight and almost makes a fantastic play.
Ken Stabler's thrown for 25 touchdowns this season, so he's only 2 behind Brian Sipe at the moment. Right now on 2nd and 10, Stabler stands in, lets her rip, and there's a man wide open. And a picture reception by Cliff Branch at the Browns 38. Stood there, both feet in, leaned up, and took it to fingertip.
That is the farthest I have ever seen a wide receiver open. Clarence Scott is 25 yards deep down the field. When this ball is thrown, Branch has no one anywhere near him, makes a great play just to get the reception.
Branch, now in his 8th year from Colorado, has 44 receptions this year, averaging 15 yards a catch. Great speed. The only player people in the NFL say has ever been illegally, officially clocked on grass and football, running the 40-yard sprint in 4.3 seconds. 1st and 10. Oakland driving the ball at Cleveland. Arthur Whittington takes it inside the 35-yard line. And Charlie Hall, a big linebacker from Houston, 59, knocked him down. 6'3", 235. But Stabler, with a diverse offense, has the Raiders moving, leading by 10 with 9:14 to play in the first half. Sam Latigliano's Browns 9-5 coming into the game. Tom Flores' Raiders are 8-6. Al Davis says Tom Flores has an inner toughness you don't find very often. That's why I picked him as the successor to John Madden, who did such a great job for 10 years here. Stabler lets it go, and here is the catch. Van Egan working hard against Clay Matthews, and it's going to be very close to a first down.
It's one of the things that Van Egan has done so well over the years, Don, is that when he catches that little flare pass, he gets the most out of the reception. A lot of times backs will try to make big gains out of simple little off-speed passes. Van Egan knows he's a fullback. When he gets the ball, try to dissect any secondary people you can. Pick up the 4, the 5. Very important. He picked up a first down on that occasion, kept their drive alive.
Van Egan gives it to you a lot of different ways. He catches the ball, 41 catches and all that rushing. Here is a swing pass screen to set up for Arthur Whittington, and he loses his footing. Over in that area of the field, a lot of players trying to cut back have gone down. Ambrose fell on him. On a 1st and 10 play, the resultant gain was only about a yard. Looked like it might go for a lot more than that till he fell.
It was in the same area that Mike Pruitt fell earlier in the first quarter. It must be a bit slippery over there. Right around the 30-yard line, the footing's a little treacherous, but that play was set up as well as you could ask a play to be set up. All went for naught. You can see Art Modell a little concerned at this time.
Passing around the notch in there with Pete Hot Hazy, general manager. Right now, they're concerned about the Oakland Raiders, and here come the Raiders. Whittington, who is a real lithe, quick back, has that dance step. 4-yard a carry average for Arthur Whittington. Missed a lot of games with an ankle injury. Robert Jackson knocked him down. Just ahead, what a safety.
You got it.
7-5.
But that game is so big, particularly for Oakland. If they were to win this ball game, they still need a loss by New England and plus Denver. They can get half of it today if the Jets keep going.
Stabler on 3rd and 2 into the end zone. Casper's there. Can't hold on. Good coverage against him by Oliver Davis, right with him. Had Casper taken it, probably would have been out. And Stabler got wrapped by Alzado, getting up a little slow, but he's had time. Stabler's all trimmed down. He looks...
I think they knocked it off. He's found the floor 5 times today, even though he hasn't been caught with the ball. It doesn't hurt any less.
Stabler says the more interceptions he threw last year, the older he got, and the drunker he got, and the fatter he got. Starts throwing touchdown passes, and here he is, a great guy again. Reading the papers.
He's always thrown them.
He wasn't very happy about the press coverage last year. Jim Breach hits another field goal, and Jim Breach extends the Oakland Raiders lead now to 13-0. A 38-yard field goal with 6:46 to play in the first half. The Oakland Raiders, under the aegis of this man, have won more games than any team in football since they began back in 1980. Had some bad early years, but even counting those, everybody talks about the Oakland Raiders Monday night record, their record versus the NFC. Their record's good against everybody. They just win a lot. Dino Hall comes back upfield and takes the ball close to the 30-yard line on the kickoff return for Cleveland. Oakland has dominated the football game, not only on the scoreboard where they lead 13-0. They have 32 plays to 17 for Cleveland. Time at the possession over almost 16 minutes for Oakland. 7.5 minutes.
Well, they've controlled the ball and so much of it on the ground. It's as well as I've seen them run all year. But remember, only 13 points. So if Cleveland can come back now before the half, this game is back in the half.
And Cleveland can come back quick. They haven't opened up the offense yet consistently, but let's see. Here's a swing pass in the flat. They go to Dave Logan. And Logan dives ahead very close to a first down on a first down play.
Okay, there's been so much discussion as to who are the 3 best wide receivers in the game. Cleveland's getting a lot of notoriety now because Sipes having a great year. I asked Jim Schaffner, their offensive coach, just what is it about the wide receivers that makes them so great?
Our 3 outside receivers, or 3 receivers, I think we've done the best job of getting the ball downfield to those guys, and certainly they're a part of it because they're outstanding receivers. But collectively, Brian and the 3 receivers understand, as I say, preparation for the game for the week. And they know where the creases should be, and they really complement one another. They all have good hands, and the best thing about them is that their intelligent approach to the ball game, really.
On second down and less than a yard, the Browns go to the run, and they're going to bring out the chains now to see if they got there. If they did, it'll be by the nose of the football. Cleo Miller ran the ball. Calvin Hill hasn't been in yet, John.
If they did, Donnie, I think the lines are made wrong because one of those first down markers was just inside the line. I think they've got about 6 inches to go. Calvin Hill's been hurting a little bit. And Mike Pruitt's been playing so well that he's picked up the slack that Greg Pruitt created when he went down. So they've thrown the ball. Their personality is throwing the ball. When they have to run, that's when it's tough for them.
Tom Flores, Raiders. A lot of defensive looks at Sipe in the Browns offense. Third down and inches now for Cleveland. Browns trail in the game 13-0. Second quarter, 5:30 to play in the half. Handoff up the middle, and there is the big back Pruitt. Guts it right at the Oakland Raiders and takes it ahead for a first down.
It was such a very small piece of yardage they needed, and yet it's an offensive center that can snap the ball back to the quarterback, Tom DeLeon in this case. Any sort of penetration over the middle. They did so and picked it up.
Browns need points. You brought an interesting aspect of this game, John. It's 13-0, not 14-0. The Browns get a touchdown and they're in striking distance. They've got a ways to go now, and they've not moved consistently. There's been a big rush generated against Brian Sipe by Oakland's multi-front defense. Look at Hendricks, 83 up there. Here he comes. They pick him up. Sipe gets it away. And it'll go for a reception in a short yardage game. 3 or 4. Doing a good job catching the ball was Reggie Rucker, and an even better job releasing it Sipe because people were right on him right away.
It was a quick type pass, and there's so many types of offensive blocking, Don. That was an aggressive type offensive line block. You don't expect a lot of time. He got Rucker. He had him in motion. It's very hard to watch a man on man when you get him in motion. Get him up the field a little bit. Those are like running plays for Cleveland.
Kansas City has beaten Baltimore 10-7. That was Reggie Rucker's first catch. Sipe on second down and 6 gets it away. The Raiders are there converging on Reggie Rucker as Brian Sipe tries to strike long. He has a problem with Dave Pear, who knocked him down. Henry Williams and the strong safety Jack Tatum converged on Rucker.
Well, they tried to eye fake Jack Tatum out of the play, but he felt like that ball was intended for him. He had it well played the whole way. As soon as Sipe didn't even look that way, and Tatum was kind of sliding over. That's his second chance. Hasn't come up with any.
There'll be more chances. These teams can score. The Browns scored 333 points coming into the game. The Oakland Raiders 322. Third down and 6 now for Cleveland. Viewers who are watching the Kansas City victory over Baltimore, Brian Sipe of the Cleveland Browns on third down and 7 was just knocked down trying to throw, and so the Browns will have to punt the ball back to the Oakland Raiders. The third sack of Brian Sipe. This is Don Criqui with John Brody, and Oakland has dominated this game, leading 13-0. Their defense has stopped the Browns, and their offense has been a masterpiece.
And their four-man line has been very effective, putting pressure on Sipe. That time it was Dave Pear. Been close to Sipe several times. That time he completed the trip.
So Johnny Evans is in to punt. Byron Matthews is back. And Evans can't get it away. He's a quarterback, or was in college. He throws it downfield. And now we have a penalty marker down, as we probably had an illegal man downfield. The Raiders were through so fast that even Johnny Evans, who looks at the football when he's going to punt it, saw the corner of his eye that he wasn't going to get that away. He didn't even try.
Men downfield, about 5 of them. Made a pretty good pickup of the ball. However, look at this. Defensive lineman coming free.
He'd have blocked it with his belt buckle.
Well, Lester Hayes was all over the top of Evans, and there was no chance for him. If he could kick the ball on the run like Frankie Albert used to do, that's about the only chance he had.
Frankie could kick it on the run?
He never did punt it until somebody closed in.
Well, it didn't work, and the Raiders have the ball when we come back with excellent field position, of course, on 4th down. Browns didn't get there, an incomplete pass, and we'll be back.
That doesn't look like Freddie, does it, Don?
A lot of guys retired here this past season. Coach Madden after 10 years. Right now, we're going to pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
WFMJ, Youngstown.
In addition to John Madden, Willie Brown, a 16-year defensive back, retired. He's now coach. Fred Biletnikoff, he just saw his number, but not Fred, running around the stands. After 14 years, Pete Banaszak after 13, Clarence Davis after 8. So a lot of key people in the Oakland success story are gone. Here is Stabler throwing in 1st and 10. Big back. Booker Russell crashes ahead, and he's down to the 32-yard line. Clay Matthews knocked him down, but the Raiders are starting to mount another challenge here, John, with 3:15 to go in the half.
I think so, and with these last 3 minutes could be very indicative for the rest of the game, because they have had it all going their way, just as San Diego has, leading New Orleans 28-0. And if they don't capitalize here, 13-0 lead at halftime, the way this ball game's gone, would not be sufficient.
San Diego really knocking it down. New Orleans. Great football, and people fighting for it. Let's see. It whistled it dead.
I know who has it.
Charlie Hall is heading for the end zone, but they say, come on back, Charlie. Was down, but I think Cleveland got the ball back. They did. Their offense is coming out, so the Browns stop another Oakland drive. Henry Bradley took the ball away, number 91. It's twice now that the Raiders have been down close, once inside the 5, you remember, when Ambrose intercepted.
Their defense has bent. It has not broken. It's time for their offensive line to do some playing, because that's what's most needed at this time for them to get on the board. Another look at the fumble. Stabler rolling out to the left, giving a little draw play to Arthur Whittington. The handoff was not clean. I think Jack Gregory actually got the ball. We'll be back with more of the action in the second half after this.
I want you to see the right color.
This Christmas card was sent to you by the people at Miller High Life. Merry Christmas.
We have 2:48 to play in the first half here at Oakland. The Raiders in the lead, as you see, 13-0 on a beautiful day, 57 degrees, sunny skies, Oakland, California, and on the grass field here at Oakland's big stadium that's sold out as it is for every Oakland game. Brian Sipe and the Browns have not moved the football very well. Had some big plays, but by and large, it has been Oakland's defense that has been dominant when Cleveland's had the football. First and 10 for the Cleveland Browns, ball at their 34-yard line. Time becoming effective for the Browns. They must move with big plays, and Sipe is looking for one now. Dropping deep, here's the rush. He swings it out. Open is Calvin Hill. And Hill, as he's done so many times, great hands, comes down, catches the ball. They ruled apparently somebody touched him when he was down to 47.
It's a heck of a grab, and they love to use Calvin Hill as a receiver. And they're doing so. They've had a little problem protecting for Sipe. They kept Ozzie Newsome in on this play. He's been an outstanding receiver for them, but they have to give their quarterback time to throw, so they employed Hill in the offensive structure. Hit him for a big gain, and they're on the move.
They are, and so is the clock. It's down to 2:14 to play in the first half. Oakland leads 30-0. Leo Miller in the backfield now. Ball goes to Pruitt, and he breaks the crust and comes inside the 40. On a 1st and 10 carry, Mike Pruitt takes it down to the 38-yard line. Browns were talking about, John, the key people they've lost. Gary Shirk, their best defensive lineman. Greg Pruitt, their all-purpose back. And, of course, their great return man, Keith Wright. We'll be back in a moment. 2:20 to go back at Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. The Cleveland Browns have the ball. 38-yard line of the Raiders. 2nd down and 2 coming up for Sam Martigliano's Cleveland Browns. They're down in the game 13-0. Ryan Sipe, their quarterback, has been under pressure in this game. Sipe has an interesting observation about his own abilities and how he's used them. He said he was drafted in the low round out of San Diego State. He went to Cleveland, and everybody thought he was going to be the backup quarterback to Mike Phipps for a lot of years. Well, he said, if I didn't believe I was going to make it as a first string, I might as well have quit. And I thought all along I was going to be there sooner or later, and he got there sooner. And right now, he is a winning quarterback, respected throughout the league.
He's no longer in a position where they say he's hot. He's hot every week.
That's right. And he's getting as many times into the end zone as he has. It isn't a luck or one big game. He goes to Mike Pruitt on the 2nd down and 2 carry, and he takes it down to the 35. Pruitt had a very unusual beginning at Cleveland. Brown fans remember he came in out of Purdue, #1 draft choice, did almost nothing, had fumbles. Doris Gregg put him on the bench, got another shot, fumbled again, back on the bench, and finally we got to Sampson, who's been great this year. That swing pass to Cleo Miller in the heart of the Oakland defense was very nearly intercepted. Villapiano and Hendricks dropping back in zone coverage. They will keep this Oakland defense. A lot of different looks.
Tom Flores is a little concerned right now. He knows his team's had all the best of it in the first half, and they're in great danger going into the locker room at halftime with a 13-7 lead. Sipes got him on the move. This is their best drive in the first half.
2nd down and 10 coming up. He has Calvin Hill back in the game. He has Rucker wide to the right and Logan out in the left flank. They've not gotten the ball to Ozzie Newsome yet. And he is a guy they really were looking to get the ball in this game. Here's a long pass downfield. It's tipped away, and this penalty marker is down to -50. Newsome they thought would be a key factor, and apparently so did the Oakland Raiders, because they've been giving him a lot of attention. He's not had the football.
And Henry Williams has played very well.
Number 37, defense.
But that was a safety blitz. They had 9 men on the line of scrimmage. One of them got a little anxious, but let's take a look at Henry Williams. He doesn't know somebody's already offside, and it's one of his own men, so he's got to make a fine play. He used the sideline. He forced Logan into a no-man's position. Great play for a defensive back.
They have Charles Phillips, defensive back from USC, in the game much of the time, number 47, playing right on the nose of Ozzie Newsome, who's caught 50 balls this year, 9 for touchdowns for Cleveland. He's having an all-pro year. And the receiver coach, Dick Kotite, talks about his blocking. I asked Ozzie Newsome before the game, what's the key to becoming a blocker when you weren't one? He said, you've got to want to block.
I think the want to comes first.
Now they have Hendricks right on Newsome. Now Hendricks moves in. 2nd down and 5. Sipe with a deep drop, stands in, throws the ball, and he was hit hard. There's going to be a personal foul on Villapiano, I think. Put a little extra lick on it. Roughing the passer.
You can't pull up. He knows he's in a hurry. He's got to get to Sipe because he's left his area vulnerable. If he doesn't get to him, he can throw it cleanly. He's in trouble. And I'm not down there taking a look at the quarterback, and I don't think it was anything malicious. He's in a hurry. He's trying to make a play. Made it the wrong way.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 41. First down.
Big play for the Browns because the pass was way off the mark. Here it is. You'll see Villapiano come in and really put a hand.
And I think there's one thing you can't do. That's hit him in the head. Let's take a look. See if when he comes down, the helmet's a no-no.
So the Browns have renewed life now. They have the ball down to the 16-yard line of Oakland as time's a factor. 1:25 to play first half. Raiders lead the game 13-0. First in Cleveland. Sipe. Going to go down back at the 30 as the Raiders are coming out of smoking in this football game. If they get in the playoffs, they might be something.
Well, they've got a little ways to go to get in them, but I'll tell you, the way they're playing right now, it looks like they're in a playoff game. They're playing for their lives. Their defensive pass rush has been the best it's been all year in the 4 or 5 games I've seen. They've used different people. That time Rodney came back, their back picked him up, had to leave Browning, couldn't help the offensive tackle. As a result, Sipe goes down.
Now the Browns are taken way out of range. It's going to be 2nd down and 24 back at the Oakland 30. 55 seconds in the half. Here's, Logan looked like he had it, then he lost the ball back inside the 25. Lester Hayes, who's been a great cornerback for the Raiders this season, his third year from Texas A&M, he's intercepted 6. One of them back 52 yards for a score was defending.
The Browns have not coordinated as well as they generally do. That time Logan ran a fine pattern, tried to keep Hayes off his back and away from any position to get to the football, and in doing so he took his eye off the ball.
Browns will close out next Sunday at Cincinnati. Raiders will close out next Sunday here at Oakland Alameda County Stadium against the Seattle Seahawks, who gave them both a hand yesterday, beating the Browns. Right now, there is a pause in the action. We'll return to the game in a moment. With John Brody, this is Don Criqui back at Oakland. Browns have the ball, but they have a problem right now. It'll be 3rd down and 24 coming up. What do you do here, John?
You put it down there and hope somebody interferes with you, because to design plays to go 25 yards when you're on the 30-yard line is very difficult. I mean, there are too many people in one specific area down there to get anyone running loose. They may, I know in their discussions, they considered picking up 3 or 4 yards and putting it well within Cockcroft's kicking range. So I'll wait and see. I didn't get in on the conversation.
Arthur Whittington has outrushed the Cleveland Browns today. He has 50 for the Raiders. Cleveland as a team has only 42 yards rushing. On 3rd and 24, Sark was chased and run down from behind by Willie Jones. They've gotten 5 in the first half. Oakland's defense is really coming off the ball, and the Cleveland offensive line, which has gotten a lot of credit throughout this season, and with good reason because they've played well, has been unable to hold off the Raider front.
Willie Jones is an outstanding pass rusher. They use him generally in passing situations. That time he just beat Doug Deacon outright. You can see how fast he gets around. Sipe has very little chance to even set up, much less get an opportunity for his receivers to run their pattern.
So the Browns will now have to punt it. 5 sacks for a total loss of some 48 yards. Ira Matthews is back deep. Johnny Evans will try to angle his punt now for Cleveland. This time he gets a good snap. Remember the last one. He had a run and throw an incomplete pass. A 5-yard assessment against the Cleveland Browns, and Evans will try it again. 17 seconds left to play in the first half.
They better find somebody to check on number 37, because he would have run through cleanly that time again.
At halftime, NFL 79 will bring you a complete update of all the scores, the stories, the highlights of this 15th weekend of play in the National Football League. Right now it's 13-0. Cleveland ready to punt the ball with just seconds remaining in the first half. Oakland goes for the block again and very nearly got it. Ball is down inside the 5-yard line, so Stabler in the offense will come out and just run the ball one time. 8 seconds left.
I think they're going to rule that it was in the end zone, Don, and the reason being is that when the man went down to make his play, Randy his legs in the end zone. You can't have any part of your body in there when you've got control of the ball and you're trying to down it. We may get lucky and see a picture. Rich is coming from the right-hand side of your screen. You can see his knees are on the end zone line. That's all you need.
So now it'll be 1st and 10, and the Browns will run to the guy they didn't call that so often today, Arthur Whittington, and that will do it for the first half. As Oakland wins the first 2 quarters, still a long way to go, but a very big game. That is the end of the first half, and the score is the Oakland Raiders 13 and the Cleveland Browns nothing.
Ball in the second half first. Now they haven't moved the ball offensively too well, but they've been stopped by their own mistakes. I think you'll see them go to the pass, go to their receivers, and you can't hold them down forever. I look for a close game.
And now let's go to NFL 79. Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamle.
Hello again, everyone. Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamle welcoming you back to NFL 79. As we started Week 15, there were 7 playoff spots available. You should know that the Rams have filled 1. The Chargers are winning big. They're about to fill another one. The Bears and Redskins are staying alive. Mike and I will get you all caught up, scores and highlights of Week 15. We'll get to it all right after messages from your local station. 15 winding down. Let's get you caught up on a full day of action. The Pontiac Silverdome today, the Detroit Lions record fell to 2-13. More importantly, from the Miami Dolphins, scores 7. Patriots, they've just got to keep on winning and hope that things go their way. It doesn't matter if they win this week and continue to win next week. What really does matter is what the Miami Dolphins have to do. Miami Dolphins today turn back the Detroit Lions, and next week, next Saturday, right here on NFL 79 NBC, you will see the Dolphins against the Jets. If the Jets win that game and the Patriots come back, win today, win next week, they'll be champions of the AFC East. If instead the Dolphins turn back the Jets, they'll win it outright. Remember this as you look at the Patriots score. The only way they can go to the playoffs is if they win that divisional crown. This 1979 National Football League game is brought to you by Radio Shack, the nationwide supermarket of sound. By Schlitz, make the most of now. From the life you, the beer you drink, go for it. By Chrysler Plymouth, who invite you to see our 1980 models and compare Chrysler engineering to any other car. And by Betamax, the home video tape recorder from Sony, the one and only.
Back at Oakland, California, the Raiders and the Browns are ready to play football in the third quarter again. Back at Oakland, California, the Raiders and the Browns are ready to play football in the third quarter again. This is Don Criqui with John Brody. Halftime score is Oakland 13, Cleveland nothing. You know, John, talking with John Madden, who's here today, with 10 years the highly successful coach of the Raiders, he was saying the thing that's always impressed him most about Ken Stabler, he was the same on Wednesday at practice as he was in a Super Bowl. Didn't make any difference.
I think the only time you can see the change in Kenny is when you make him mad. If somebody gets a good lick on Kenny, watch for him to come back and do something damaging. And I think it happened last week when they beat New Orleans. They got him on the deck, and they got the redneck moving, and he has been consistently outstanding since that time. And I really think that he knows right now Cleveland has the capability of coming back. And if they don't put more points on the board, this game can go both ways.
Well, Madden was saying you can see quarterbacks across the way a lot of times screaming and yelling and what are we going to do now? And he says Stabler will come over, and sometimes you look up on the stands, you're ready to go into overtime. He said, well, you know, John, they're really getting their money's worth today, aren't they?
And I think he loves that. He loves to be in control of a volatile situation. And quarterbacks, I think, have that innate quality that if they really like to play, when everything around them is chaotic, they love to make some little trite comment that kind of puts the whole thing into perspective. Brian Sipes the same way. Their personalities lend them to be great quarterbacks.
Well, be assured of that. If you haven't had a look at the Browns much this year, they're not done yet, because this is a team that sometimes they don't get going till the last 5 minutes.
Well, when they've thrown the ball, and when Sipes thrown it well, the receivers have dropped it. When he's thrown it a little poorly, they were open. Things have not gone cohesively for the Browns yet, but they get the ball first in the second half. I still look for a tight ball game. Brian Sipes has had too great a year for them not to put some points on the board.
Well, we shall see. They're ready to go. Here we are with the Cleveland Browns ready to go. They'll be receiving. Jim Breach will be kicking it off for the Oakland Raiders. Ray Guy's had a little problem with his knee on the kickoff, so Breach, he doesn't kick it too deep, though. He sends a spinner downfield. It goes out of bounds, so he will try to do it all over again. 5-yard penalty. That'll set the ball back to the Oakland 30-yard line. 13-0 is the score. Oakland Raiders moved out very quickly. First and only touchdown of the game came in a spectacular play on Oakland's first possession when Stabler threw a 39-yard strike into the end zone to a diving Cliff Branch. Arthur Whittington, the game's leading rusher, with 53 yards in the first half. Pruitt has 31 for the Browns. Brian Sipe completed 7 of 14 for 83 yards, but perhaps the most important statistic from a passing standpoint were the times he didn't get it away. He was sacked 5 times.
I think you hit it, and that's the problem Cleveland has to deal with. They have got to find a way to handle Oakland's 4-man defensive line. It's all to the offensive line.
Dino Hall on the one hop. Look at this little guy go. He almost broke it. Dino Hall takes it across the 30, out across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Here's a breakdown, John, of how the first half statistics looked. The Oakland Raiders dominating the football game.
You bet. 80 yards rushing is a lot of yards for the Oakland offense to really be able to generate running the football. It hasn't been their personality. They've done it very well today.
That's the truth. Oakland has not generated the good rush, averaging only 3.6 yards a carry on offense throughout the season, while giving up on the average of 4.4, but that's not been the case today. Mike Pruitt and Cleo Miller are the setbacks behind Brian Sipe. Reggie Rucker goes in motion. They go to the fullback On a counter play, he comes right back out across the 40. And Mike Pruitt drives the ball out close to the 44. And a 1st and 10 carry, he got about 7. Monty Johnson, the big veteran linebacker from Nebraska, number 58, knocked him down. Johnson comes out of the game. Villapiano goes in. Our statistician Joe Costanza points out that Mike Pruitt has now rushed for 1,093 yards. That's the most for a Cleveland back since 1968. And the great Leroy Kelly rushed for 1,239. 2nd down and a long 2. They go up the middle. They're going to a little more quickness now as they have Dino Hall in the backfield. He's knocked down by Reggie Kinlaw, 62. Kinlaw's been a surprise for the Raiders. Out of Oklahoma, he wasn't drafted until the 12th round. But he looks like a frontline NFL player, has been playing more and more.
You almost get the feeling that Cleveland's way of handling the 4-down lineman for Oakland is to let's go right at them. Let's get them a little concerned with us running the football so they don't get in their starting blocks and come after Sipe. It's worked effectively on the first 2 times they've had the ball. We'll have to see down the line.
We shall see as it's 1st and 10 now for the Browns. They need points badly, trailing 13-0 early in the 3rd quarter. Big play by Rob Martin. He's made 3 of them now in this game. He had a sack, his tackle for a loss, and you'll recall the pass play he broke up and very nearly intercepted. Linebacker from Southern California. One pro scout said there's only 2 teams in football that have better players in Southern California, the Cowboys and the Steelers.
I think Ohio State would take exception to that.
That'll be some game on New Year's Day.
You got it.
And of course, we'll be at the Orange Bowl, where there's another good one. Billy Sims and the Sooners of Oklahoma going against Florida State New Year's Day night, 8 o'clock Eastern start. Florida State and Oklahoma. Sipe steps in, lets her go long in. Ozzie Newsome is intercepted by Charles Phillips. Another Southern California player. He loves to have the football, puts his stutter step on, and brings the ball out to midfield. So Ozzie Newsome, the ace receiver for the Browns, they finally go to him long, but Charles Phillips, who's been shading him all day, who's been on him like a glove, steps in front and intercepts.
Well, Charles Phillips was actually in another zone. It was one of those zones. Oakland plays a lot of different types of zones. They're putting a linebacker man-to-man generally on anybody going down the middle of the field. Now you can see man-to-man. They've got Mike Davis trying to cover Ozzie Newsome. The ball's thrown behind him. Phillips comes from clear over on the left third of the field, picks the ball off, and watch the end of this. Boy, does a defensive back like to make that kind of move on an offensive back.
So the Raiders get the big defensive play, and here's Stabler on 1st down looking to capitalize. He can just stand there and take a look at everybody out there. Casper gets it on the 1 hop. Bob Hope's Merry All-Star Christmas Special this Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. I was with Bob yesterday, and it stars a lot of great people. Catherine Crosby will be on there, Angie Dickinson, Adam Rich will be on, Bonnie Franklin, the Rose Queen, and of course the 1979 College Football All-America team led by Heisman Trophy winner Charles White of USC and Billy Sims of Oklahoma. That's all this Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The Bob Hope Christmas Special, annually one of America's most popular television shows. On a 2nd down and 10 carry, the Raiders go to the run down to the 47-yard line. Number 22, Arthur Whittington, is up.
Don, they've been in very few 3rd and 9 situations today. They've been able to move the ball on 1st down, which on the other side of the coin, Cleveland has not been able to move it very well on 1st down. It's been the key to their being able to go up and this is a 3rd and long. It's a tough situation.
They need a big play here. Cleveland needs one too. The Browns need to get back the football. 3rd quarter, 11:55 to play in it. 13-0 Oakland. That's how it stood at the half. Stabler dropping to throw. Looks and fires to Cliff Branch, and the Cleveland defense is there, and it's good. The game was only 3 yards to the 45-yard line. Oh, watch Cliff Branch on an isolated replay.
Now, people will say, why didn't he get it farther down the field? He didn't have enough to pick up the 1st down. But this is a little delay pattern. They hope they can catch the linebackers going into their drop, cut underneath them. Robert Jackson was too quick to react to allow that to happen. You can see he smothers Branch for a 4-yard gain. Punt number 1, Donnie.
Yes, sir. Ray Guy is in there now. Having another big year booting the ball. He always does. Ray Guy averaging per punt 43 yards. The 42.9. He can hit that 9-iron shot way up. right about the 20. Great guy coming off the field, as a sensational athlete. He was a great defensive back in Mississippi State. All-American baseball player, drafted by the major leagues. He could play a lot of positions if they need be.
Mom, we got a present for you. It's
points.
First down, they've lost yardage on 6 different occasions. They've got to make first down count.
That's been a big factor. They've not gotten a play on first down. You need to set up your offense. This time they do. It's a foot race, and Pruitt's going to win it. Mike Pruitt is gone. They're gaining, but Mike Pruitt's into the end zone standing up. So he wins the Olympic sprint. A quick hitter. They broke the crust, and Mike Pruitt at 227 pounds goes 77 yards and outruns everybody on the football field.
Don, we were discussing earlier the reason that Mike Pruitt has gained over 1,000 yards. Now Art's explaining how he did it, but the problem that Oakland has is that, number one, they've been in so many different defenses. You have to leave yourself vulnerable on occasion. It was a blitz defense. Once the back gets past the line of scrimmage, at the point of attack, he was gone. Once there was a hole right over between center and guard, no one was in a position to get him.
That's the longest run of his professional career. Mike Pruitt. He had a 71-yarder for a touchdown back in '78 last year. Did that against Buffalo. Now the extra point is up and good, so all of a sudden the Browns are in the football game as we expected they would be. Let's watch it again. Mike Pruitt, the distance.
Discussed earlier, Don, what happens at the point of attack? He found a hole. If that happens, only one mistake needs to take place. They're trying to get to Sipe on first down. They thought he'd throw the ball. Now these guys are running a futile foot race. Pruitt, 77 yards for a touchdown. That's about all you can ask of a man. 13-7, Oakland over Cleveland.
He has just taken the ball the distance from scrimmage, 77 yards. Now the Browns lining up. What will this kickoff be? They're going to kick it high. Raiders looking for an onside kick. It's a 13-7 game Oakland. Here comes Ira Matthews weaving and dancing, but the Browns hem him in, hold their lanes on kick coverage, and knock him down at the 28-yard line. So, John, it is a game indeed with 10:41 to play in the third quarter. Oakland with the football, but leading now by only 6.
Well, I'll tell you, Oakland knows it better than anyone. Stabler knows this score could have been 27-0 at halftime. They got out 13-0 lead. The other team has the feeling, you know, sometime during the course of the afternoon, things are going to come our way. It happened early in the third quarter, and this ball game's back in the half.
Up for grabs. Here comes Stabler, setting his team down. Like Waylon Jennings with a football helmet on. Hands the ball off to Arthur Whittington, who hits to the 30 for a 2- or 3-yard gain. That'll pick up the Browns defense, no doubt.
Waylon Jennings pretty good at what he does, too.
I guess. Mike Pruitt now has 6 100-yard rushing games this season. His best effort of the day, 173 yards. 6 in his career, 173 yards against Buffalo back in '78. He's had the other 5 this season. Jackson in the lineup. 2nd and 8. Stabler stands in, and again he has a lot of time. Goes high. Oh, it's so very nearly intercepted. Ron Bolton, 28, came over, had a play on the ball. It was off the fingertips of David Casper. It'll be 3rd down and 8 for Oakland.
Tom Darden thought he might get a piece of that ball. When it's thrown in the middle, Darden gets a piece of a lot of them. They haven't thrown it in there very often for that reason. They've been fortunate going to the outsides. It's tightening down a little bit.
Stabler has put the ball up in the game 18 times. He's hit 12 for 108 yards and 1 touchdown, the 39-yarder to Cliff Branch. For the season, Stabler has a 60% completion mark. 3rd down, and here's the rush. He stands in, he lets a rip, he hits his man, and Derek Ramsey he's got a first down. He's down to the 40-yard line. On 3rd down and 8, Ramsey got downfield just where he had to go to the 40 of Oakland, made the reception, 10-yard gain, first down Raiders.
Credit the offensive line with giving Stabler enough time. He wanted to go to Casper to come off his primary receiver and find Ramsey in the middle all along.
Now David Casper comes out of the game. He's playing with a bad back. You never know it. And Raymond Chester goes in. He's playing with a bad knee. He comes in with 53 receptions. Raymond Chester set to the right. Here's a handoff. Van Egan runs the ball. Mickey Sims, the big middle guard. Number 78, a 275-pounder from South Carolina State. Makes the knockdown. So with no gain on the play, it'll be 2nd down and 10 for Oakland.
Oakland went to their strength, what people have considered their strength for years, Shell and Upshaw over the left side. You can see Cleveland's defense has tightened up in the second half. On 2 first down occasions, the Raiders have tried to run the ball, have come up with nothing.
2nd down and 10. Oakland Raiders. They lead the game 13-7. Clock running. 8:40 to play in the 3rd quarter. Stabler standing in. Here's the rush. He gets it away, and he hits his man, Raymond Chester, and he's going to be close to a 1st down. Clay Matthews was covering, but Chester going downfield, turns in at the 1st down marker, makes the grab. Chester now in his 10th year from Oregon State, a #1 draft choice of Oakland. And you recall he went to the Baltimore Colts for a few years, back to Oakland.
And that's what you call sucking it up. Everybody on the club knows he's got a bad leg. He probably shouldn't be playing, but he had to give Casper a rest at some time during the game. It was a perfect time.
So the Raiders do indeed get the 1st down. 1st and 10 for Oakland, 49-yard line of Cleveland. Stabler 2nd back through. Whittington, Robert Jackson, 56 is there to hit. Charlie Hall, Dick Ambrose, Robert Jackson, and Clay Matthews across the linebacking front of the Cleveland Browns. Jack Gregory, right defensive end. Lyle Alzado's at the left, and Mickey Sims is in the middle in the 3-4 defense.
Jack Gregory's another one of those fellas, Don, that when he hits you, you know who it is. I mentioned it. There's an Elvin Bethea. There was a Rich Jackson. This guy's got the same sort of strength when he hits you.
Stabler, deep drop, 2nd and 9. Throws is coming in low. One hopper to David Casper. It'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Raiders. So look at Casper run his route.
Well, Casper has actually played outside a few times. Now what they're doing is they're giving the cornerbacks a little help to the outside, and when they do so, they've got to come into the middle. Now Stabler expected somebody wide to be open. He wasn't. By the time he came to Casper, he didn't have any time.
Casper knows the playbook, too. He was a Dean's List student for 4 years at Notre Dame.
You don't have to be on the Dean's List to know the plays in this game. It's not that complicated.
Here's Stabler throwing it on the ground. Derek Ramsey catches the ball. So the Raiders get a lucky one, or was it? Derek Ramsey on the turf. Leaned up and caught the ball.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if they had a go at it. It's 4th down. Just a little over a yard to go.
Yep. Sending out Ray Guy. But the trick plays we've had in this league this year, you don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't really mean much, does it?
Seattle, they're liable to throw anything at you. Knuckleballs, onside kicks. They'll be coming here to Oakland next week. They're not going to be in the playoffs, the Seahawks, but they're going to decide some other teams that are going to be. Here is a line drive kick taken by Dino Hall inside his 10. Return right. Dino Hall gets upfield and gets to the 20, and the Browns go back on offense. 1st and 10. NBC Sports World on 4 o'clock Eastern Time salutes the champions of '79. We'll review the many magic moments with an exciting look at the year's major events, from Swan Super Bowl to Star Jewel Series and more. Don't miss Sports Year '79, a salute to the champions, Saturday, December 22nd on NBC Sports World. It's 1st and 10 for the Cleveland Browns. The ball at the 20-yard line. Cleveland, you'll remember, scored on a 77-yard run. Last time they had it, and they're back in the game, trailing 13-7. Here comes through it again. The Raider defensive secondary was up playing the run. They were coming on blitzes, doing a lot of tricky things to throw Sipe off. When they had everybody up, though, the Cleveland Browns broke at the line of scrimmage. A great block by DeLeon, the center, and it was a touchdown run of 77 yards, and I think the Raiders are a little more cautious now.
All you have to do is break one, and you get the other defense to start checking their hole card, and you don't feel as good about it once they beat you.
2nd down and 6 now for Cleveland. Temperature about 60 degrees. Perfect day. Right back to the money. Going to Mike Pruitt. He takes it out to the 25-yard line on a 2nd down and 6. He only got about a yard. It'll bring up 3rd and 5. Dave Browning, a second-year defensive end, 73 from the University of Washington, was on the stop for the Raiders. And the clock runs down to 5:47 before Pruitt went out of bounds. They criticized Mike Pruitt for fumbling, but the statistics show that he's fumbled only once every 53 carries in his career. Tony Dorsett of the Cowboys has fumbled once every 24 carries. Earl Campbell's fumbled once every 33 carries. Then you have Franco Harris. He fumbles once every 77 carries.
Where'd you get all that?
Gets a lot of yards on the other 76. Dropping the throw is Brian Sipe. Trying to make a living of this business, John. I checked all that out. And getting out of bounds is Brian Sipe. Looks like he's got a first down for Cleveland.
If Brian checked it all out, that was a beautiful play. He waited to the last possible second to make a decision. He had to pick up 5 yards. He was able to do so.
We'd now like to welcome our viewers in the great city of Los Angeles, California. As here at Oakland, California, you see the Raiders in the lead 13-7. This is Don Criqui with John Brody. Oakland had a 13-0 lead at the half. The Browns just got the big play on their last possession. Their big back, Mike Pruitt, ran 77 yards from scrimmage untouched. A quick trap block sprung him, and he went 77 into the end zone. Now he gets it again as the Browns have it first and 10. Gets it out to about the 38-yard line. Oakland might have had a lot more points, I think, in this game, John. They were down challenging. They were down first and goal at the 6. Dick Ambrose intercepted then for Cleveland. Another time they were down close at fumble by the Browns. And a couple of other drives that came up short, and they ended up in field goals. So the Cleveland Browns, as they've done all season, keep hanging in as we have 5:10 to play in the third quarter. And all of a sudden, when the fourth quarter comes into play, Cleveland often wins a football game.
Well, Oakland's pretty good at that period of time, too. I'd say we've got a pretty good matchup.
Brian Sipe has been sacked 5 times. They're taking better care of him. Now he throws to Logan, who catches the ball, coming back at it. And Logan is ahead on a 2nd and 8 play, very close to first down yardage. He caught the ball beyond the yardsticks for the first down, then came back, trying to elude the defenders. Jack Tatum knocked him down.
I'm certain he's got the first down, Don, but when he did break free, he fumbled the ball a little bit, so they had to give it to him where he could make progress. First and 10.
And the clock runs. It's down to 4:40 to play in the third quarter. The Raiders and the Browns both were greatly buoyed by yesterday's Seattle victory over Denver, which gives them renewed life for playoff hopes as wild cards in the AFC. New England, winning or losing against the Jets, could have a bearing. Jets were leading at last report. Now Brian Sipe on 1st and 10 takes the drop. He throws it to the hopping pattern down to Reggie Rucker, and I think the Raiders have another one. They do. Henry Williams, the rookie cornerback, and he's not done yet. Pertinent blockers in front of him. And again, the Raiders come up with the interception. Not that long ago, if you just joined us, Charles Phillips intercepted for Oakland. And now Henry Williams does the same, so the Browns threat is stopped, and Oakland has excellent field position, John.
Well, it wasn't as much a badly thrown ball because Rucker had Williams' back turned to the play. When you do that, throw the ball up, usually your offensive receiver can come down with the ball. This time, Rucker went up for it. It went right through his hands. Williams made a great reaction to it. That's having your hands in the right spot. Rucker did not touch him after he got the ball. You see him reach his paw out, try to get him before he got up. He wasn't able to. As a result, Williams made a great return. Oakland's got good field position inside the 40.
And as you see, Henry's got 3 for himself. A rookie from San Diego State called on to start when Monty Jackson went down with an injury. And right now, we have a break in the action here at Oakland, California. Raiders in the lead. Back at Oakland, we pause briefly for station identification. This is ABC Television Network.
WFMJ, Youngstown.
John Brody, this is Don Criqui. 4:08 to play third quarter. Oakland Raiders 13, Cleveland Browns 7. Raiders with a second interception this half. Of this game, rather, of Brian Sipe, and now they go to the run straight ahead. Van Egan, playing with a bad bruise below the knee, carries it down the middle and down to the 34-yard line. Ambrose, the middle linebacker for Cleveland, on the knockdown.
Good offensive line play also by the right side of the offensive line. They're off on the ball. Any sort of penetration doesn't make a difference which way you push them. It creates a hole. Van Egan alertly found it. They pick up 7 or 6.
Stabler again goes to Van Egan on 2nd down and 5, and there's not much there. Robert Jackson, a former #1 draft choice of the Browns out of Texas A&M, who's moved into a starting alignment with the 3-4 defense, came up to make the strike. Be 3rd down and 5. Now New England leads the Jets 19-17. Sam Bam Cunningham just ran it in from a yard out for the Patriots touchdown, but a long way to go on that one. 11 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. We have 3:10 to play in the 3rd quarter here at Oakland. The Raiders with an 8-6 record, hoping to go as a wild card. So too are the Browns hoping for the wild card. They come in at 9-5. Here is Cliff Branch wide open. And you better get a net out and throw it over Branch when he gets it. Unless you grab him and hold on, he's gone. He's been in the end zone once today, was there twice Monday night. And Robert Jackson is slow getting up for Cleveland. Branch having another big day with 4 receptions. Robert Jackson being attended to now with 2:45 on the game clock in the 3rd quarter.
Don, you know, a lot of times you'd say, hey, here's Robert Jackson. If he has to leave the field, maybe they'll have to go back to their 4-man line. But in this case, not so. The strength of their team is in their linebacker positions. Remember, Gerald Irons, who used to play for the Raiders and very well, is the 5th linebacker for them. So they could stay in their 3-man line even if Jackson has to come out.
It's Mike St. Clair, big guy from Grambling, number 74. It's come in. Cleveland using different defensive alignments up front. They go to the 4-man defensive front, 3 linebackers. Clay Matthews backing the line on the right side. Ambrose is in the middle. Charlie Hall on the left side. Arthur Whittington takes the ball right at the Cleveland Browns and runs it inside the 20. Now, throughout this game, we've seen this trend time and again with the Raiders driving down to about this field position. Then something seems to go wrong, either an interception, a fumble, or else they're thrown back and end up kicking a field goal. They could very easily have an awful lot of points. Right now, they lead 13-7.
And there's a strange stat. When Oakland has lost, they have turned the ball over a lot. When they have won, they've had very few turnovers. I mean, some days they'll go with none. Other days they'll go with 5 or 6.
They do it with their offense. There's no question about that. When their offense is down, they're going to win. Here is Derek Ramsey taking the ball down to the 10-yard line on a 2nd and 5 play, and he has a 1st down. Gain of about 8. Clarence Scott and Robert Jackson knocked him down, but Derek Ramsey, one of 3 tight ends who plays for Oakland, makes the 1st down reception.
Well, Kenny's using everybody. He's using his backs, all 3 of his wide receivers. He's even used Chester on one play that he came into the ball game. This is just a Derek Ramsey on a little delay pattern, pick up 5 or 6 yards, control pattern, 1st and 10.
Raiders challenging. Arthur Whittington cuts inside. Sims, 275 pounds, number 78, throws him down. On a 1st and 10 carry, Arthur Whittington got only a yard. But the ball is down inside the Cleveland 10-yard line, and the 3rd quarter clock is running with a minute to play. Oakland 13, Cleveland 7. Tom Flores, in his 1st year as head coach of the Oakland Raiders, impassive. He doesn't get excited about the whole thing, at least not outwardly.
You got that right.
Stabler looks, pump fakes into the end zone. Van Egan went up for it. He's caught a lot of balls this year. But that one he could not hold on to. Charlie Hall covering, but not that closely. Stops the clock with 38 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Kenny Snake Stabler comes into this game with 24 touchdown passes. He has 1 today for 25. 19 interceptions. Now the Raiders go to a 2 wide receiver formation. Rich Martini comes in along with Cliff Branch. They go primarily with 2 tight ends and receiver. Their tight ends are just so good you have to have them in the lineup. Casper and Raymond Chester. On 3rd down, here's the throw from Stabler, and there is a full hit from Clay Matthews. Arthur Whittington caught it, but he's going to be down at about the 5-yard line, short of a 1st down. 4th down.
Well, it's a good play by the defensive backs. When they forced Stabler to come off to Whittington, he has had 3 wide receivers running through the end zone. They were all well covered. He has to come out to Whittington, and Matthews makes a good play defensively to hold him to a field goal try.
Now the Jets come back and take the lead, 24-19.
That's the help that the Raiders need if they are going to do anything.
That looks like a last at bat game, though. Keep changing the lead. Right now, we're going to take a break in the action as the Oakland Raiders, the third quarter coming to an end. They'll kick the field goal in the fourth.
Hey, Les, what are you and Pam up to this afternoon? Oh, we're just sitting around by the pool.
Jessica, darling, I just saw the most
Later on, why don't you guys come over?
When the people in Long Beach, California make phone calls.
Back at Oakland, California, this is Don Criqui with John Brody. The Raiders are leading the game 13-7. They're getting set for a 22-yard field goal attempt, but Ken Stabler, who's had a great day at quarterback for them, apparently John hit his hand, his throwing hand on somebody's helmet or face mask he's being attended to.
The problem is they're putting that spray on there, but if that takes the feel out of his hand, he wouldn't be effective playing anyway, and his problem would be squeezing the ball. If you can't squeeze it, you're helpless. Plunkett is warming up. Stabler's awful tough, but this may be beyond his control.
Here's Breach with the field goal attempt. He's up and good, so that extends the Oakland Raider lead to 16-7, an important field goal, as the Browns were within go-ahead distance if they were able to score and score an extra point before that field goal. So the Oakland Raiders open up a 16-7 lead, as we'll see what shape Kenny Stabler is in. They sprayed that hurt no more on, but as you were pointing out, John, and know so well, unless you can grip the ball hard, you're not going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, what you don't want is you don't want to have your hand numb. That's the way it gets rid of the pain. I mean, it freezes it, and you don't have any pain, but you don't have any feel. And
you must have that feel.
You got to have it.
NFL football coming up next weekend. Saturday, it's a special edition of NFL 79, followed by the Jets and the Miami Dolphins. Then on the final season Sunday, there's exciting regional coverage, including the Browns and the Bengals battle. Buffalo goes against the Steelers at Pittsburgh. The Seahawks against the Raiders right here in Oakland. And then, of course, as you see the other game, that's a 4 o'clock start Eastern time. Seattle at Oakland should be a good one, so check the local listings for the game in your area. Next Sunday on NBC. Dino Hall and Randy Rich are back deep now. Here's a good kickoff. Jim Breach gets it down the deepest he has in this game. Dino Hall's not big, but he'll put his nose right in there, and he gets ahead across the 35-yard line, but there are 2 penalty markers down on the return. 99% of the time, the call will go against the return team. We welcome all of you who've been watching other games and have switched to this network. Those of you watching the Los Angeles market, the San Diego New Orleans game, that one was over early. As San Diego is executing the Saints, they went out of it when Atlanta today was beaten by Los Angeles. The Rams will win the NFC West. This is Don Criqui with John Brody. This is our score early in the fourth quarter. At 16-7, the Oakland Raiders are in the lead. 14:47 to play. The Browns struck their only score in the third quarter on a 77-yard run from scrimmage by their fullback, Mike Pruitt.
And the concern, Don, that we alluded to a moment ago, that Ken Stabler may be too hurt to return, hitting his hand on a helmet. They say he'll come back.
He possibly can. You know the snake will be in there. They go back to Mike Pruitt. They got long ball offense off that play not that long ago. That was the one that went for 77 yards. Pat Toomey makes the knockdown this time on a first down carry, or second down. It'll be second down and 6. Ball up just across the 20-yard line. Jim Plunkett, who came to the New England Patriots in the year of the quarterback, 1971. He was drafted first by New England. Archie Manning to New Orleans. Dan Pastorini to Houston, 1, 2, 3, and then Paul Brown took one on the third round, said he's got the best one, Kenny Anderson. Plunkett's career, of course, been hampered by injuries. Oh, look at Richard Kinlaw, rookie from Oklahoma, shoots the gap and makes the knockdown on Dino Hall. Said Kinlaw was too small to play pro football. He was a consensus All-American at Oklahoma. Wasn't drafted until the 12th round, the last round.
What do? You see a guard pull, you've got to get in the action. Do what you can to stop him. If you find the back, great. That time he handled both.
We'll be looking at Oklahoma, of course, in the Orange Bowl against Florida State. Last year, Oklahoma had 10 players drafted. They all made their NFL clubs, and an 11th made it as a free agent. 11 seniors from Oklahoma playing as rookies in the NFL. Third down and 10 now. Sipe lets her go. He's got Calvin Hill open, but the ball is stripped away. Rufus Best, a rookie from South Carolina State, number 38, who made the team as a free agent, comes up with a big defensive play as it appeared, John, that Calvin Hill would get it.
It did, but Brian Sipe was rushed. He had to throw the ball, and a lot of the steam was taken out when Dave Kerr was right in his face. Now, they haven't done anything to control the 4-man line of they don't do so, it's going to be hard putting points on the board.
It's 16-7. The Raiders are in the lead. Their fans are up and stomping now as they're going to get the ball back on a punt. Johnny Evans had a problem earlier today. The Raiders were right through on him, so much so that he had to run and try a pass that was incomplete. Subsequently, the Raiders turned that into a field goal. This time, Evans gets a good snap, but he's not punted the ball well. His average is only 33 yards. Ira Matthews picks it up on the one hop, and the coverage is there. Randy Rich is down to cover, number 24. So with 13:20 left to play in the ball game, and the Raiders in the lead 16-7, we take a break in the action here at Oakland's Alameda County Coliseum. We'll be back in a moment.
In New York, reporting that the Patriots and the Jets are involved in a wild one out at Shea, trailing 17-12. The Patriots send Sam Cunningham over the top, 1-yard dive. They go out in front 19-17. But the Jets come back, march all the way down the field, and then from 8 yards out, Richard Todd rolls left, finds nothing but green in front of him, rolls into the end zone. Jets out in front of the Patriots 24-19. Back to Oakland and Don Cricket.
All right, thank you, Brian. So the Jets and the New England Patriots going back and forth at Shea Stadium. The Jets leading 24-19.
And another division picture, San Francisco looking for its second win. O.J. Simpson's last day as a 49. They're ahead 20-7 over Tampa Bay.
Well, Tampa Bay's taken the pipe. When they were in shouting distance of a playoff spot in the divisional championship, they've just gone south.
And if you can't score against San Francisco, you're going to be in trouble.
I think rigor mortis has set into Tampa Bay. They hadn't been there before, and when they got close, they couldn't handle it. Stabler, as you thought, John, back in there. 13:01 to play in the game. It'll be second down and 8 coming up after the 2-yard carry. The ball at the 43-yard line of Oakland. Stabler having another big day. With that touchdown pass, incidentally, he's Oakland's all-time leading touchdown thrower. 149 career, one more than Darryl Lamonica. Out to Cliff Branch. Looked like it hit him in a bad place.
But that answered any question as to whether Kenny can throw the ball. That ball was put out there on a line, 35 yards in the air.
Right in the hands.
Right in the numbers.
Stabler is in his 10th year from Alabama, 6'3", 210 pounds. Flores' coach was a quarterback in the old All-American Football League with Oakland and with the Buffalo Bills. He recalled a game that his team scored 51 points and won by a field goal.
That's all you have to win by.
That's all. Expected to be easier now, I guess, if you get 51. Here's a throw downfield. It's broken up nicely. They went to Casper, and Browns converged on it. And a free football was up, and there's a Cleveland defender down. Tom Dardner, all-pro safety, a little slow getting up. That brings up 4th down now for Oakland. They're going to have to punt the ball back to Cleveland.
You notice we haven't seen a lot of Tom Dardner because they don't try him very often. But when they do, he seems to be in position to make the play. He's a tough man to beat, so most guys don't try him.
Ray Guy has been angling for the sidelines in a lot of his punts. That's why the short yard per punt average today, he's best. Second best in the league right now. The best is Drupp at Kansas City. Hitting it out of sight. Here is Guy hitting the ball. Oh, man. Dino Hall goes all the way back to his 2, and Dino's going to try his best. No room there. Let's go the other way. Not much there either. Dino Hall does well to get it to the 12. As Guy put a charge into the ball. Remember the year they were looking for the helium-filled football here? 56-yard punt, a 10-yard return by Ray Guy, and a break in the action at Oakland with the Raiders still in the lead 16-7 in the 4th quarter. We'll be back in a moment. Winners tell jokes and losers stay deal, and John Madden sitting back enjoying it all here in Oakland after 10 great seasons as head coach of the Raiders. Every one a winning season. The 77 Super Bowl championship ring on his finger. Said he really got an idea. It might be time to do something else when his wife told him one son Mike was going to take his driving test the next day. He said, what do you mean driving test? He's not old enough to drive. Yes, he is.
He found out.
John said, I thought he was still about 10. Sight throws. Dave Logan catches, and Logan turns upfield. He's going to be close to a Cleveland first down on a first down pitch. Lester Hayes held down and rode him down. 10-yard gain.
Take a look. Henry Williams, they've tried him several times with very limited success. He's come up with an interception. This is a little under the flow play. It's not really his responsibility, but Cleveland has to put it in the air, and they have to be effective.
First and 10 for the Browns. Sipe stands in. He throws and completes again, this time to his fullback. And Mike Pruitt takes it out across the 30 to the 32. On a first and 10 carry, he got 8. So it'll be 2nd and 2. Villapiano made the knockdown on the play. Pruitt 2 receptions for the day. His big play, though, is that quick hitter from scrimmage, 77 yards and a third-quarter touchdown. The Browns' only point so far. They trail 16-7. The game clock is down to 11:20 to play. Second down, actually, in about a yard. Ozzie Newsome has not caught a ball today for the Browns. They're 50 catch man so far this season. Sipe throws. Ball is taken down and lost by Dave Logan. It'll be 30 yards. Interesting to watch Newsome and the coverage they're giving him, John. They're just putting somebody right on his nose at the line of scrimmage, and they're just running with him wherever he goes.
Well, that means they put a burden on Henry Williams, the cornerback that we mentioned hadn't been exploited much throughout the season, but we expected to see exploited today. He's held his own. That really makes their whole defense work. If you can put a burden on one cornerback and have him hold up, you can play some defense.
Ryan Sipe standing in. They've taken better care of him. He was sacked 5 times in the first half. Big play for the Browns. 3rd down and 1. And Pruitt gets the yard and some more as he drives it out from the 32-yard line to the 35. So Cleveland keeps its drive going. And the clock continues to run. 10:45 to play in the game. Oakland 16, Cleveland 7. Rod Martin and Ray are on the stop for Oakland. Yards rushing this season. Reggie Rucker goes out wide to the left. Logan, a big lanky receiver who played basketball at Colorado and was a Major League Baseball prospect, is wide to the right. They're looking at Newsome, and Ozzie gets the first ball thrown to him and does it as he did so often all season long. One-handed, up in the air and down with the football.
Gives you a pretty good indication as to why they're double covering him all day long. I mean, that ball was not a well-thrown ball. It looked like it was going for a certain incompletion. Mike Davis has been doing a fine job. He gave him just a little bit of room that time. He came down with a reception, picked up a first down.
Big play. They go to Ozzie Newsome from Muscle Shoals, Alabama. The man that Bear Bryant said the best pass catcher we've ever had at Alabama. You can talk about Hudson or all of them.
I tell you, either the hands are getting bigger or the ball is getting smaller. I don't know which.
A lot of guys are catching with one hand, though. First and 10, Sipe deep drop. He has a problem, swings it out. Ozzie Newsome he can go with the ball. Newsome spins ahead and did not get back to the line of scrimmage. Mike Davis held on and knocked him down, so it would have been almost better incomplete. First downs an even number, 16 apiece. Bottom line is the thing, though, and that's 16-7 Oakland with 9:10 to play.
Both these quarterbacks very cool in the last 10 minutes of the game. You won't catch either one of them making bad mistakes that cost their team time or yardage.
Throughout the season, Cleveland has been a fourth-quarter team. That's where they play their best football. They've come up with a big play. Sipe takes a drop on 2nd down and 12. He runs out of trouble. He stands in. He swings it out. There's a man there. Mike Pruitt catches a ball for a first down at the 28-yard line. Talk about poise under pressure. Sipe stands and lofts it up.
That's exactly what you're talking about. His primary receivers were covered. He's still getting a good pass rush. Matusik forces the play. Pear forces the play. He gets out from underneath. He puts the ball up to Mike Pruitt, who is covered only by Monty Johnson. You can't expect the middle linebacker to cover a back all over the field. Let's take a look at why he went to him. Here's Henry Williams trying to handle Dave Logan all over the field. At this time, for his life. He doesn't even see Logan.
It was Ernest Hemingway who defined courage as poise under pressure. Brian Sipe demonstrating that now. Throws another strike. This time he swings it out to big Calvin Hill. The fullback from Yale who swings out. He's caught some today to playing with a painful knee. He's been in and out of the lineup, did not start. Cleo Miller was a starting runner along with Mike Pruitt.
This is a good indication of what's been happening all day long. Sipe didn't even have time to get down to his primary receivers. He likes to throw it to his outside players. The pass rush made him take what they gave him. Just a little bitty 3-yard play to the back.
Cleveland getting down close. 7:56 to play. The clock stopped on the out-of-bounds carry after the reception. 16-7 Oakland, but the Browns starting them out a challenge. 2nd down and 6. Sipe goes to the draw, and here's Pruitt heading for the end zone again. And Mike Pruitt takes it down to the 1-yard line. But there's a penalty marker at the line of scrimmage.
But I think it's Dave Pear who jumped a little bit early. It could have been caused by an offensive lineman, but I didn't see any offensive lineman move.
John, you've got the good eyes. You got it.
Well, so often, I mean, he's already created a hole by moving a little bit early. He shows the offensive lineman which way he's going, makes the block very easy. Pruitt takes advantage, and they've got it 1st and goal.
74, defense, refuse, 1st down.
Well, we're going to head down the stretch with another good one. The Cleveland Browns lose you, give it to you that way. The Oakland Raiders leading 16-7. They dig in on defense. 10 men come up on the defensive front. The Browns with the power back line just behind sight. Mike Pruitt. He gets the handoff. He cracks. He hits. Did he break the plane? He did not. Nothing in there yet. So it'll be 2nd and goal from inside the 1-yard line, and here comes Calvin Hill with a play. Nose of the football almost at the goal line.
Pretty tough going downstairs, but when Calvin Hill comes in the game, if they hand it to him, you can bet he's going up over the top. That's no picnic either.
That's a very good point. Calvin Hill, when he was in high school in New York City, I didn't see it, but a lot of people claim they did, touched the top of a backboard. I'm not talking about the rim, I'm talking the top of the backboard. That's what kind of a skier he was. He might be going over the top now. Calvin Hill, no, they go to Pruitt. He goes up high. Didn't get there again. The Oakland Raiders hold. Goal.
They can't have more than 3 inches to go, Don, but it's a long 3.
Pat Janae's played a fine game. He's off the bottom of the pile.
When you choose your point of attack, you've got to get some penetration from your offensive line.
Now Calvin Hill goes out, and Pat Moriarty comes in the game.
You can see the Raiders won at the point of attack.
3rd down and goal for the Cleveland Browns. 6:58 to play in the game. Oakland 16, Cleveland 7. Sipe the quarterback. Willis Adams goes in motion. Handoff. Touchdown, Cleveland. If at first you don't succeed and the Browns go to the same play, 1, 2, 3, and finally they get it in.
They needed 3 inches. If they got 4, I'll put in with you. But they got enough.
They got a few inches, that's right. But it was 6 points worth. Now a big extra point coming up as it's a 16-13 game. If the Browns hit the extra point, a field goal could win it for them. But these Raiders aren't done yet either. It's Stabler. Here, let's watch the touchdown run.
Good offensive line play. The left side of the offensive line moved them just enough. Pruitt took advantage of it. Got them back in the ball game. This extra point could pull them to within 2.
Pruitt with 10 touchdowns this year, 8 rushing, 2 today, and he's caught 2 for touchdowns earlier in the season. Cockcroft, who doesn't miss many, didn't miss that one, and it's now a 16-14 game with 6:50 left to play. So there's a break in the action. We've got a good one when we come back. 6:50 to play, and the Raiders let the Browns get back in it.
I know what that is.
I do indeed. My pal Burley Mack from Beulah is in the Cleveland audience. 6:50 to play in the game. 16-14, 2-point lead for the Oakland Raiders, and now the Cleveland Browns teed up and are ready to kick it off. Arthur Whittington is back deep. Cleveland, the come from behind team, always keeps it interesting.
And Arthur Whittington's the only one that is back deep. They expect an onside kick. I don't think they'll get one.
Well, I don't either. I don't see the wisdom of that.
Well, they've got everybody over on the left side, so they'll probably try and kick it high and get good coverage.
That's just what Cockcroft does. Sends a spinner down to Whittington at the 15. He tries to outrun the coverage coming back. And Willis Adams, the rookie from Houston, the #1 draft choice, comes down and makes the play at the 17-yard line. So Oakland starts off inside its own 20 with plenty of time remaining, 6:43 to play.
All right, Niners. Did you see that, boy?
I see it. They haven't had many. I thought they were in the Billy Sims Bowl, but they're out there playing it out.
We get to yell when we get them, though.
How about Tampa Bay? The rigor mortis is set in, those boys. Coach McKay stopped the one-liners. First and 10. Here's a handoff. Whittington dancing, gets across the 20 to the 21. We're going to run down all the scores from around the league on this 15th weekend of play as teams close in on the playoffs. Right now, the Raiders holding to a 2-point lead, 16-14 with 6:26 left to play. Here is the Miami Dolphins winning 28-10 over Detroit. Miami a victory away from winning the AFC East. The Rams with a big victory today. They win the NFC West, beating Atlanta 34-13. Washington comes from behind on Theismann's passes to beat Cincinnati 28-14. St. Louis beats the Giants 29-20. We'll have more. Stabler on second down and 7 throws, and the ball is caught by Dave Casper for a first down. Casper having another all-pro day, gets the ball out to the 40-yard line. That's a 19-yard gain.
Stabler puts his best against their best. Darden just missed the ball. Casper goes in with a big gain and a first down.
5 receptions, 49 yards for David Casper. The Bears stay in the running in the NFC Central. They beat Green Bay 15-14. Kansas City coming down the stretch pretty strong. Wins at Baltimore. Minnesota beats Buffalo. San Diego.
They're pretty strong, too.
They are. It was over Monday night, I think, for the Saints. Oakland did it to them. 5:20 to go now. The Raiders trying to run the clock down. It runs to 5:18 and moving. They have the ball out to the 43-yard line on a first and 10 carry. Lyle Alzado makes the stop. For Whittington.
The Raiders will do anything they can to score, but they would like to take as much time as they can because they know Cleveland's habits. How many touchdowns have they scored in the last 5 minutes of a ball game? We're just under 5 minutes now. When the Raiders have it, no one can score.
Beating Oakland at Alameda County Coliseum is one of the tougher things in the league to do. Here's Stabler on second down and 6. Throws a strike and Cliff Branch hangs on. He paid the price. Oliver Davis hit him hard in the small of the back. Knocked him down at the 46-yard line. 14-yard gain, and the Raiders move on with a first down.
And his offensive line continues to give him excellent vision. You notice that time Gene Upshaw just cut down Jack Gregory, allowed him to see well over the middle and complete the pass.
So Stabler delivers a big pass, and now Cliff Branch having another big day with 5 receptions brings the Raiders down to the Cleveland 43-yard line. And the clock runs 4:08 to go. They go to the fullback. Mark Van Eegen takes it to the 40. Clay Matthews stopped him on a first down carry. It'll be second down and 8. Browns need to get the ball back, but Stabler so good when the pressure's on. Keeps taking the Raiders further and further into the Cleveland area.
It's the first time in the second half that they have really won at the line of scrimmage or moved the ball.
You see the game clock winding down. That's in the 4th quarter. 3:35 left to play in the game. Oakland leading by 2 points, 16-14. Here's Stabler on second and 6. Swings it out. Van Eegen catches it. He's ahead, very close to a first down. Van Eegen had to get to the 33. Ambrose knocked him down right about there.
Don, and that little move made such a big difference because even if it is 3rd and a foot, that's okay. But that last little move he made, rather than make it 3rd and 3, which is really a very difficult rushing down, but an easy and usually a throwing down, created the situation. Look at this. He gets away from Clay Matthews, picks up an extra 3 yards, puts him within a foot of a first down.
3rd down and inches. Across the bay, San Francisco continues to lead Tampa Bay 23-7. 3rd down and inches. They go to the run. Here is Booker Russell, a 245-pound fullback, and he is there. Booker Russell takes it inside the 30, and the Raiders drive out. Clarence Scott knocked him down. Bowl games are coming up on NBC. Some great ones starting Christmas Day when the Pitt Panthers, ranked in the top 10, go against the Wildcats of Arizona in the Fiesta Bowl. And then New Year's Day, the game of the day, the game of this season perhaps. Heisman Charles White leads the second-ranked Trojans against the #1 Buckeyes in a game that could decide the national championship. Probably will. Then the undefeated Seminoles of Florida State go against Billy Sims and the Sooners of Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl New Year's Day night. Swing pass to Arthur Whittington, first down carry. He got ahead for a couple of yards and was crashed down to the 26-yard line.
Easy to complete, keeps the clock running, and picks up a few yards. We mentioned earlier, Sipe nor Stabler will waste any time that shouldn't be. and both of them have done an excellent job within the last 10 minutes. Stabler in no way wants to give Sipe a chance with that ball and any time left.
Cleveland Browns just called a timeout. They have 2 left, and so we have a break in the action. 2:15 to play in the game, and we'll be back at Oakland in a moment. With John Brody, this is Don Criqui back at Oakland. We're coming down the stretch. 2:15 to play in the game. The Raiders have the ball and a 2-point lead over Cleveland, 16-14. Second down and 8 coming up for Oakland at the 26-yard line of Browns. Stabler at quarterback, setting his team down, takes the drop. They give him time again. All he needs, swings it out to Van Egan. But the Brown linebackers hem it in. Charlie Hall with the knockdown. Stabler's really got room to work, doesn't he, John?
He's got room to work. He's trying to utilize as much of the time as he can. They're down at the 2-minute warning. He's throwing safe passes, but he wants badly to get in a position to pick up 7. 3 points gives Cleveland a chance to get back in the ball game.
And we'll be back with the last 2 minutes of the game after this. To go, and a big third down coming up for the Raiders. Third down and 8 at the Cleveland 27-yard line. Oakland 16, Cleveland 14. As you pointed out, John, if the Raiders should kick a field goal, that would give them a 5-point margin right now. And Sipe just might take it right down into the end zone the way he plays in the final minutes of the game.
They're both these quarterbacks. The one that has the ball, I've got to do my betting on. And I can't think of a better guy to have third and 8. He needs control of the ball than the Snake.
Figuratively, of course. Right. Here we are with Stabler standing in, looking in the end zone. Boy, they give him time. He's got a guy going for it. It is Chester. The ball is broken up. Oh, what a play. Recovering and making a great play for the Cleveland Browns was Oliver Davis.
And he didn't even have his head to the ball. I mean, it was one of those plays that he knew the ball was coming in about that area, Don. Raymond Chester made a fine move, a little out and up move. His offensive line gave him time to look around. He spotted Chester. Davis is on the hustle, man. You see, he comes back, just put his arm up where Chester was trying to catch the ball, made a great play.
Also covering was Ricky Jones, a little used linebacker. Now Jim Breach will try a 45-yard field goal. Browns give him something to think about. Breach hits it. Oh, well played by Jim Breach. Jim Breach is only 5'7", but he hits a big field goal. And that takes the Browns out of field goal range to win this game. Now they must score a touchdown, and there's 1:48 left on the clock with Oakland kicking off. So we'll be back at Oakland, and the Browns will get back the ball trailing 19-14 with 1:48 to play. 6 minutes and 48 seconds of this game. Jim Breach going to kick it off after he hit a 45-yard field goal to give Oakland a 19-14 lead. Dino Hall at the 3, 10, 15, blockers 20, and gets out to the 23-yard line. The clock stopped with 1:43 to go. The Browns go on offense, trailing by 5, first and 10. John Huddleston and Mike Davis came down to make the tackle for the Oakland Raiders. While we have a moment, we'd like to thank our crew in the booth: Bill Breslin, Len Shapiro, Don Lahan, and Joe Costanza. And also our producer for NBC Today, Larry Cirillo, and our director, Harry Coyle, our entire NBC crew, but we're not done yet.
We got a lot of action left. We won't have a tie, but a lot of action.
Reggie Rucker comes wide to the right. On the left flank, Dave Logan. Setbacks, Mike Pruitt, Calvin Hill. They both swing out. Standing in his sight. He's got time. Now he must hurry. He throws, and wisely gets the ball out of bounds. Coverage was there. Reggie Rucker didn't have much to work with.
Coverage was great because his offensive line gave him plenty of time for one of the few times today. He had no one to throw to. He didn't try to force it. He's got 3 downs left.
Second down and 10 coming up for the Cleveland Browns. The ball at their 24-yard line. They must take it into the end zone. And if they do, they could win this game as they're down by 19-14. 97 seconds left. 1 to go. Again, Logan left. Rucker right. Tight end is Newsom, has caught only 1 all day. Cleveland's leading receiver. He's open over the middle. Now they throw long. Going for it is Logan. He's a leaper, but the ball's out of bounds. And the Browns are 2 downs away now from possibly a loss.
Henry Williams has been given a little bit of leeway right now. He's most effective covering Logan the way he's doing it. Man to man, bump and run, they call it, but you can't bump him anymore. He's got Jack Tatum playing the deep outside in his territory, and it really gives Henry a little flexibility. It's been very hard to get a man open. Oh, Arthur is concerned now.
Art Modell, the president of the Browns, looks on. The Cleveland Browns have third down, coming up 3rd and 10. Big third down play for the Cleveland Browns. Brian Sipe drops back, sets himself in, takes a look, lofts it down. Calvin Hill is there. The ball is taken away. Knocked down by Rufus Betts, a rookie. They are up and cheering here in Oakland as the Raiders have stopped the Cleveland Browns on 3 straight downs, and now Cleveland could very well be 1 down away from a defeat that could take them out of the playoff picture. This is Don Criqui with John Brody. It is 4th down coming up for Cleveland. The ball at the Cleveland Brown 24-yard line, 4th and 10, and the Raiders leading the game 19-14.
Remember, Don, they still have 2 timeouts left, but on 4th down they have to pick up the first right now. They couldn't get it back, but it would be an awful tough situation.
4th down and 10 for Brian Sipe and the Cleveland Browns. They must make the first down here to keep it going. They're down by 5. He throws. He looks. Now Rozzie Newsom had his back to the football as it came in. And the defensive secondary, the Oakland Raiders, salutes each other with reason. They have done the big job stopping the Browns on 4 straight downs. And now Brian Sipe fires a fist into the turf. That will do it for Cleveland.
Well, you know what he thought, Don? He thought Ozzie Newsom was going down the field about 20 yards and stop up, because you could tell when he let the ball go, he thought he had Newsom open. He thought he had a sure reception. Newsom was trying to beat the safety man, Jack Tatum, deep. A little miscommunication. You can see the reaction of Art Modell. They've had a fine year. Looks like it's coming to a halt today. Looks like Oakland's going to stay alive. Never can tell with 1:22 left, but that's the way it looks from here.
Newsom was running the deep pattern, had his back turned to the ball, and came in on the 1 hop behind him. And so the Browns turn it over, failing to convert on 4 successive downs, and the Oakland Raiders still very much in the playoff picture. And in now to run out the clock. Stabler at quarterback, 1st down and 10. He goes to his fullback, and Van Egan crashes down to the 22. They don't want yards now, they want time. It runs down to 1:17, and the Browns call for and are allotted a timeout.
Don, they do have 1 timeout left, and they could get the ball back, but they would only have 10 or 15 seconds at that time if Oakland elects to run 4 plays. And it's not enough time to operate 80 yards from touchdown area, and I don't think you'll see the Raiders trying to kick a field goal.
Ken Stabler, as his former coach John Madden was reporting him earlier, said the great thing about Stabler is if it's a Super Bowl and you're in the last 30 seconds of the game and it's on the line, or if you're at a Wednesday practice, he's exactly the same. He doesn't get excited. He doesn't jump up and down and scream, what are we going to do next? He is there and he's ready.
He's ready right now, and he's talking it over with Tom Flores. He knows that if the Browns take a timeout, 1 more timeout, that'll be it. They could still have 1:14, 12 seconds left to play, but 2 plays later, they'd only have about 12 or 14. It wouldn't allow him enough time. I'm sure that's what he's explained to Flores. Not that he needed to. I mean, that was the area of discussion.
Well, they have 2nd down and 8 coming up, 1:17 left to play in the game. Both these teams greatly buoyed by yesterday's development at Seattle. The Seahawks upsetting the Denver Broncos. And now Oakland could be closing in on a playoff spot with a victory here today. Although this will not make it official. They go to the run. Carrying the ball is Derek Jensen. Another fullback takes it inside the 20 on 2nd and 8. Ambrose and Jackson were on the stop, and so right now the Raiders are 1:12 away from a very big victory. We have a break in the action here at Oakland, California. We'll be back with the conclusion after this. The run and took it straight ahead. Arthur Whittington carried. He got it down to the 15-yard line. He didn't get a first down. It'll bring up 4th down and 1, and the clock runs down to 55.
And we discussed it earlier. Stabler says, hey, we don't want a field goal. It's the only way we can get beat. If they block it, they could get themselves in position to go on and make a touchdown. He feels that they'll be so hampered for time by the time they get it back, and I'm sure their offense is over there. They've already created 2 or 3 plays that they can get out and get with fast, but I don't think it's enough time.
Mike Pruitt having a great day for the Browns with 149 yards rushing, 7.5 average per carry, 177 yards for a touchdown, but apparently not quite enough, as now there's a timeout with 29 seconds left to play. And you don't know, John, what this playoff picture is going to be until They play it off next Sunday, and then they go to the computer. Earlier this season, look at Tampa Bay. They had the greatest record in the league. They were cruising. And their coach, John McKay, said it wasn't that long ago we couldn't score against a strong wind. Well, that's been the case today. The 49ers aren't a lot better than a strong wind, I don't think, but they're beating the Japers out of Tampa Bay.
It's a big win, Don, for San Francisco. It gets their program started.
This Thursday night, the Bob Hope Merry All-Star Christmas Special. You'll see Catherine Crosby, Angie Dickinson, Bonnie Franklin, Adam Rich. The Rose Bowl queen will be there, and so will the Associated Press 1979 All-America team led by Heisman Trophy winner Charles White of USC and Billy Sims of Oklahoma. That's next Thursday night, December 13th at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on NBC. So the Raiders very much in the playoff picture. 29 seconds from beating the Cleveland Browns. It was 13-0 at the half. Oakland. Cleveland rallied back, trailed by 2, and here is the carry to a 245-pound fullback, and he's knocked down when he gets to the 10. 4 new downs, that's it.
Game is history. 20 seconds left. There won't even be a need to get another play off. The Raiders are still in it, pal.
And they might be a real factor, John, if they do get in.
I'll tell you, the best quality they have exposed itself over the last 3 weeks of the season. They said, we think we have a very slight chance of getting in the playoffs, but we have to go out and do something to keep ourselves alive.
That's it. The Raiders win it, and a big win it was. The Oakland Raiders defeat the Cleveland Browns 19-14 here at Oakland's Alameda County Coliseum. Art Modell reflects the disappointment of the whole Cleveland operation as they came to this Oakland looking for a win after beating Houston. Didn't get it. The Oakland Raiders could be headed for the playoffs. The executive producer of NBC's football is Don Omeyer. The coordinating producer is Ted Nathanson. The telecast of today's game has been produced by Larry Cirillo, directed by Oil, technical director Dick Rucker, associate director Ray Benassi. For John Brody, this is Don Crickey, and now let's go to Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamley in New York.
Okay, Mike, I think this final is vindication of Kenny Stabler's season.
Maligned all last year, he's got the Raiders on the verge of a playoff berth.
Indeed, they've come back very, very well. And the fact that the Browns lost is really a shame because we've tipped our hat all year long to one Brian Sipe and the Cleveland Browns. There isn't a lot of emotion in this game sometimes when you do what we do, but I think we certainly feel it for the Browns. They have not cheated one fan who's seen them play. They've given their money's worth every time out. We're going to step aside and we'll come back with more after this word from Budweiser. I try to get you all caught up on just what has happened throughout the NFL today. At the Pontiac Silverdome, Dolphins had a pretty easy time of it. Bob Greasy and company, 28-10. Greasy threw 2 touchdown passes.
Washington sets the stage where the Rams beat the Atlanta Falcons 34-13. They're in now. The Washington Redskins set the stage for a big game next week against the Dallas Cowboys by beating the Cincinnati Bengals 28-14. 29-20 was the St. Louis score over the Giants. O.J. Anderson breaks Earl Campbell's rookie rushing record. The Green Bay Packers lost to the Bears today, keeping the Bears' hopes alive 15-14. And Kansas City moved their record up to 7-8 with a 10-7 win over the Baltimore Colts.
Okay, Mike, the Minnesota Vikings said farewell today to Jim Marshall, his last home game in Bloomington, but the Vikings made it on a winning note and with perhaps their best defensive effort of the year. The Vikings turned back the Buffalo Bills. Final count there was 10-3, the lone touchdown Kramer to Rashad. San Diego Chargers are in the playoffs for the first time since 1965. They did it very easily. They turned back the New Orleans Saints and killed off their playoff chances in conjunction with the Rams win today. Fouts and company won it 35-0. Another big day for Fouts. He's only about 100 yards short of reaching the 4,000-yard mark for the season. He'd be the first to do that since Joe Namath in '67.
How about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Their Cinderella Odyssey on the verge of turning into a pumpkin. They've lost their 3rd consecutive game. It'll go down to the wire between them and the Chicago Bears next week to decide who is the winner in the NFC's Central Division. Another game this afternoon that was involving the Cleveland Browns and the Oakland Raiders. The game you just saw, a heartbreaker for the Cleveland Browns, a big win for the Oakland Raiders. Now they have to wait to see what Houston does and see what the Denver Broncos do.
And let's clarify Oakland's position. Oakland could beat Seattle next week and then wait and see. And if the Broncos should manage to lose to the Chargers, that game in San Diego, they'd be in the playoffs. And the Jets are out in front of New England 24-19. So let's go to that ball game live and join Marv Albert.
We would like to welcome all those stations that have just joined us around the country. Marv Albert with Mike Hafner from Shea Stadium in New York. 6:24 left in the fourth quarter, and the Jets leading the New England Patriots by the score of 24-19. The Patriots in punt formation. Eddie Hare, the rookie out of Tulsa, back at his 15-yard line. Bruce Hopper is the deep man, and he calls fair catch out at the 41.
It's week 16, and as we close out